What's good, everybody? Welcome back to Brofluent. Your humble hosts, your bi-weekly brothers, are here yet again. Tom, how you doing, man?
What's up, bro? It's good to be back, but we have a funny story we have to tell. Right?
Oh, we have a great story, and I have to wear the coat of shame right now because we had an episode for y'all last week. This is gonna be episode 18, but technically it should be 19.
It should be. We put the time in.
We put the time in about 2-3 hours. We brought over Brandon Murphy from Murphy's Law, who's actually going to be on next week because we're not going to be able to give you two again this week. But I didn't hit record.
We went hours without the record button on.
Nobody noticed.
It was heartbreaking for you, Eric. It was.
And it was a great episode. Like, it was really about a lot. But we tabled some of that conversation because I think it is some stuff that we're going to be able to still talk about next week for y'all, so you guys can still get it. But
we're past it.
We're past it, and it was a wild weekend. The championship games have come and gone in the NFL. But we got to start off with the biggest one. That's going to spark a lot of conversation. I know me and Tom disagree on some things already, but for this episode of Take Two, this is Take Two of this.
It is.
Tom Brady is going to his 10th Super Bowl. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers beat the Green Bay Packers 31-26. Tampa made history, becoming the first NFL team that will host and play in a Super Bowl at the same time. And Tom, while I know the answer, what's your reaction to this game, man?
Well, I did predict this right. I did have Bucks Chiefs in the Super Bowl, so my predictions are pretty good, I must say.
Round of applause.
I must say they are pretty good. The game did not go as I expected, though. I mean, I thought the Bucks were going to go out there and win the game, but clearer than ever, the Packers lost that football game. You pick off Tom Brady 3 times and a half, and you get 0 points off of it. I think it was 2 straight drives where they got interceptions, and they went 3 and out on both drives. Like, that's just bad, and that's not going to win you playoff games. And it's the GOAT, man. Even though he didn't have the greatest game, he found a way. I mean, the defense is obviously the main reason they won this game. Rodgers still had a good day throwing the ball, but when they needed it, it seemed that Tampa Bay's defense was getting the stops, and the pass rush was unbelievable all night on Rodgers. He did not have time to throw, and Brady had all day to throw. So it was definitely flipped in that sense where we thought if the Packers could get a pass rush on Brady, he'd have a tough day, but it was the other way around. They couldn't run the ball at all on the Bucks, which we probably knew was going to happen. Bucks have a top run defense. I told you Aaron Jones was going under 60 yards. I told you that. That was my under. Perfect. He got hurt. It worked out. It hit the under. But a lot of mistakes by the Packers, which really caused the Bucks to win. I mean, the play before the end of half where Brady beats you deep with Scotty Miller. Like, how do you let anyone get behind you with 5 seconds left on the clock? Like, that's inexcusable. King might have had the worst day for a corner we've ever seen. He was all over the field. Every bad play that happened for the Packers, it seemed to happen to him. It seemed like what could go wrong went wrong for the Packers in a season that was like what could go right went right. So everything that was great the whole year just snowballed this last game that they're finally hosting an NFC Championship game. And now Brady is back to his 10th Super Bowl. And it is more likely that Tom Brady makes it to a Super Bowl than it is Steph Curry making a 3-point shot. That is the most ridiculous stat I've ever heard in my life. Tom Brady's a 47% chance to make it to the Super Bowl, and Curry's a career 43% three-point shooter. So if Steph Curry's at the 3-point line, it's more likely Tom Brady's making it to the Super Bowl. That is just
wild.
Absolutely insane. And the fact he's won 6, he's going to have a chance to win 7 out of 10 Super Bowls. The guy's the GOAT, man. He just finds a way.
I'm happy you came back to reality a little bit because this was not the intent. This was not what I got the night of the game. When it happened, this is not the energy I got. So I'm happy you came a little down to reality because
Go ahead. Make your point first.
Because, hey, man, I agree. I think this game was totally about Tampa's defense. Getting to the quarterback, getting to Rodgers, 5 sacks. Shout out some players that we should shout out. Devin White, 15 tackles.
Devin White he's got to be a top linebacker in this game.
100%. 15 tackles, 9 solos. Shaquille Barrett, 3 sacks, 2 TFLs, and 4 QB hits. Jason Pierre-Paul, 2 sacks, 2 TFLs, 2 QB hits. Awesome. And Sean Murphy-Bunting had 6 tackles and a pick, and Carlton Davis had 7 tackles. So that defense was buzzing that game.
They were.
And, man, the only thing I didn't like after the game was, yes, Tom Brady deserves his credit. He's the GOAT. 10 Super Bowls in, 21 years? Something like that.
Yeah, I believe so, yeah.
21 seasons, 10 Super Bowls. Congrats to him. You know, he really uplifted this team to become something that they hadn't been in prior years. To go from 7-9 to being in the Super Bowl, that is 100% attributed to this defense and Tom Brady.
Absolutely.
But when it comes to the game, I didn't like everyone like, oh my gosh, Tom Brady's the star of this game. Get the fuck out of here. Tom Brady was the star of that game. You had 28 points in the first half. And I'm not trying to be a hater. I understand how it sounds, but I'm not trying to be a hater. We talked about Kevin King. Kevin King probably is the sole, I don't want to say sole, but is one of the main reasons Green Bay lost that game. 2 touchdowns on him and the DPI that cost them the game. That is nutty to me. And that kind of goes into my next question, which is, who is this win more about for Tampa? Because for me, it's about the defense. Because Tom Brady, 20 for 36, 280 yards, 3 TDs, but 3 interceptions, 3 points total scored in the second half.
Mm-hmm.
So for you, who is it more about?
Listen, it's the reason they won the game is Tampa's defense. Todd Bowles did a great job, I think, whatever scheme he had. He did earlier in the season when they played the Packers. They rush Rodgers, get pressure on him, play a little bit of man, and it works. I want to say it's more about Brady, but I think this season is more about Brady for Tampa. He has shown that roster, what it takes to win. Because if you look at the roster, it's not that much different than the team you saw last year. Yeah, they have Gronk. Yeah, they have AB. Those guys were almost not a factor in that game. And
they don't really use them anyway.
Yeah, defensively, they're mostly the same team. So it's not like, oh, this team got super stacked compared to what they were a year ago. They just got the GOAT in there, QB, and a couple weapons. And Leonard Fournette, who had a nice game. I think it's more about Tampa's defense. This game, they showed up for Tom. But I think the whole season is because Tom has put them in this position.
I couldn't have said it better myself.
That's what I do, man. I just speak from the heart, and it just sounds so good.
Myself. Because it's kind of easy now that we're talking about Tampa's side of it. Because other than that, I mean, when we say, like, do they have a serious shot? I feel they do.
I feel like this is almost, when you look at the matchup with Kansas City, we saw them play earlier in the year, and Tyreek Hill had 200 receiving yards in the first quarter. So it seems like it's maybe not a great matchup for them, right? But is it like destiny for this team? Tom Brady goes to Tampa Bay. First year in Tampa happens to be the year that they get a chance at a home Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
A year ago, no one ever would have thought Tampa Bay would be in a Super Bowl. Now they've made it. They're at home, the first team ever, with the GOAT at quarterback. It's like, if Tampa's going to win another one, it's going to be this one. Everything has come together for them this season. They're at home for a Super Bowl. And if you don't think that's going to play a big part of the game against the Chiefs.
Yeah, I do think that's going to have a big factor. And I mean, obviously they have a shot. It's the Super Bowl. It's like when it comes down to the Super Bowl, it's like a fight. Like, everyone has a puncher's chance in the end. No one's really going to have, like, come on. We saw Nick Foles win one. Like, crazy stuff can happen. We saw Eli win 2. Like, I don't think it's likely, but they obviously have a serious shot. Obviously, it's been said that the big names are going to be healthy. Lev and Sammy Watkins are coming back for KC, Antonio Brown's coming back for Tampa, and that's even if they need him. I don't really think they do. But now let's get into the drama.
Yeah, it's more about this team than it is the other team.
Aaron Rodgers falls to 1-4 in championship games. What does that, before we get into the rest of it, what does that mean? Like, is that something? Is that nothing? Is that more of a tribute to the Packers more than it is to him?
It's tough because you wanna put it on the quarterback because he is the guy. But with Aaron Rodgers, he's so damn good. Mm-hmm. And when you've seen Green Bay not try to improve the team around him, you see them draft a quarterback instead of getting a playmaker or a linebacker, something that helps their team.
Mm-hmm.
You look at it and you're just like, why are they not helping Rodgers? This is disrespectful. And you could tell he thinks that the organization is not behind him with everything he says every year. At the end of the year, Rodgers is always like, I wouldn't have done this. I wouldn't have done that, as he did this year after this game.
Mm-hmm.
It's obviously Rodgers gets some of the blame being 1-4. You do listen, I don't care that you don't have maybe the greatest weapons at Devontae Adams. You get Tom Brady throw 3 picks. You got to move the ball down the field and get some points. That's on you. We can't just be bombing the ball to Scantling every play and hoping because he had one, he's going to get another one. We can't be playing like that. But I think it's definitely more on the organization than it is Rodgers. Put any other quarterback in that situation. Are the Packers even 13-3? I don't think so. You put who's a good quarterback? Not great. Who's good? Like Kirk Cousins, maybe?
Kirk isn't good.
Kirk is good, yeah.
You could say Matt Ryan.
You put Matt Ryan in the Packers, what are they? 9-7?
I could see them being similar. I'm not gonna lie.
I don't think so. I think you put a QB that's not Aaron Rodgers in there. That's a 9-7, maybe a 10-6 football team. They're 13-3 every year with Aaron Rodgers. Now it does seem like they can't get out of the NFC every year. This is 2 years in a row, maybe 3 years in a row. They've made the NFC Championship game, and they can't come through. Some of it's on Rodgers, but I blame the organization more than anything. If we're going to come after players, Matt LaFleur had a bad day. Let's be real.
I don't want to. I don't. See, this is where
day coaching.
This is kind of where we're gonna break off. I blame most of that on Mike Pettin.
Mike Pettin too. Yeah, Mike Pettin was bad.
Defensive guy. That defense was horrible the whole first half. I don't know. And look, while we're gonna joke around for this whole time talking about Kevin King and his horrible performance, he was lined up in man a lot, and I'm confused why a dude in his first game back is getting lined up man-to-man on Mike Evans. Why are they man-to-man going into the end of the half? And why is he man-to-man on Tyler Johnson, a significantly younger player, after he's been beaten so many times today? So I blame most of that on Mike Pettin. When it comes to the Rodgers 1-4 situation, his 1 win's against the Bears. So since it resulted in a Super Bowl, you can't really put an asterisk on it because that's the Jay Cutler game where he's on the bike and all that.
Right.
One of the losses is the comeback by Seattle. I don't know if it's the year they won the Super Bowl or if it's the year they lost to Denver or the year they lost to New England. My bad. And the other 2 are San Francisco, where they didn't really have a shot last year. And before that was Atlanta, where Atlanta should have won that Super Bowl. So I don't want to put too much weight on it. Because Aaron has always had a problem with defenses. His defenses haven't really held up. And if you want to criticize the organization for that, I get it. Hey, how often have I been here and we haven't really put anything on the defensive side of the ball to the point where it helps me out enough where I don't need to be Superman all the time.
But also, not to cut you off, but when you look at a team like Tampa, they get Brady for 1 year. And they're like, oh, we'll get you Gronk because you want Gronk. We'll get you AB because you want AB. We'll get you this guy because you want him.
Well, I think anyone was getting those guys. I don't want to champion Tampa for getting 2 Hall of Famers that wanted to come to Tampa.
Yeah, but first of all, the only reason they wanted to go there because Tom Brady was there. That's the point.
You don't get credit for that as an organization. That Tom Brady gets credit for that. That hey, I can drag Gronk out of retirement.
The organization has to get credit for it because the Packers are the reason that doesn't do it. I'm sure Rodgers is like, I'd probably like to have that guy. And the Packers never make a move ever.
Hold
How
on,
much time in the middle of the year? In the middle of the year, do we go? They need another weapon. When a guy drops off, they need a weapon. They didn't do anything.
But their weapons showed up. See, this is the other thing. Their weapons showed up. Alan Lazard showed up. Marquez Valdez.
Lazard dropped 2 big passes in that game.
Ooh, we're saying those are drops now because Sean Murphy Bunting was holding the. That was St. Brown. That was St. Brown. That wasn't Alan Lazard in the end zone. In the end zone on a 2-point conversion.
St. Brown with Kenny Stills or Will Fuller. Might be getting catches.
Will Fuller wasn't able to get traded for. They were obviously pursuing that. When it comes to the point of people talking about, because look, this comes into the big topic of the first round receiver and drafting Jordan Love. They proved a first round receiver doesn't mean shit. I'm sorry. If you don't draft the right one, it doesn't mean shit. And the guys that were available, like you're talking about Denzel Mims, Jets guy, good player, hurt the whole season. Wouldn't have made a difference. I don't see if he's gonna get on the field right away. You're talking about Jalen Reagor's off the board. Justin Jefferson's off the board. Who was there for them to take? T. Higgins, maybe? And we don't really know if that would have been worth it. We know the Packers are known for setting up their future through their quarterbacks, and I don't blame them for that. So I don't really like this. When you have the number one receiver in the game, don't talk to me about you don't throw to a first-round receiver. You think Kyler Murray is bitching that he doesn't throw to a first-round receiver? He throws to D-Hop?
Yeah, but I think you're missing the point, though. Like, these other organizations will make moves to get better. The Packers always just seem to stay pat. They're like, we're good with what we got. They never seem to make the move that puts them over the top.
They went and got Zadarius Smith 2 years ago. They've upgraded the offensive line. They paid David Bakhtiari. They brought in guys like Robert Tonyan, Mercedes Lewis, and they've gone through the deep ends of the draft. They've shown Aaron Jones and guys like that step up. I don't want to say that the Packers aren't doing what they do when you've been to back-to-back NFC championship games. Yes, a majority of that goes credit towards Rodgers, but let's not act like the guy doesn't have help. That receiving core, while Valdez-Scantling isn't really what we want him to be, we've said he's on the level of like a Corey Davis, who was a first-round receiver and isn't all that.
I don't even know if he's that level, though. He's not that consistent. He's just a big play wide receiver.
Isn't consistent.
Corey Davis had a solid
Corey Davis isn't consistent. Hold on, let me run the numbers.
He was on my fantasy team. He had some big weeks.
Give me something because I got to see these numbers for consistency from Corey Davis.
Listen, he had some big weeks. Scaling is, I'm throwing you a 50-yard bomb or it's nothing.
5 touchdowns, 984 yards, 65 receptions.
Almost 1,000 yards receiving.
Almost 1,000 yards receiving. Yeah, very good. Good for him. You have, whatchamacallit? You have Derrick Henry in your backfield.
Right, and you got 1,000 yards receiving. That's not bad.
You didn't get it, though.
What do you mean you don't get it?
No, I'm saying he didn't get it.
He's 15 yards away.
Marquez has more TDs.
Yards. How many TDs?
Marquez has more TDs. He has 6. He has 700 yards and 33 receptions.
Exactly. Come on, Corey Davis had a better year.
He had a better year. Is he that much better? Corey Davis the year before doesn't match Valdez-Scantling stats. So
I would say Corey Davis is probably better than Scantling is, but that's not the point.
I don't think it's a significant
difference. If I have
difference.
A quarterback like Aaron Rodgers, why am I not trying to do what that guy wants?
Why? Who? I'm confused how they haven't done anything he wants.
You're cool with drafting Jordan Love in the first round last year?
Why not?
You know your Super Bowl contending team?
Who else was on the board?
I don't know
this is my point. There's no
you could have gotten like a wide receiver or a D end, anything. You was a late first round pick. You're at 26 last year.
That's what I'm saying. You drafted him 26. Who else was on the board at 26? Justin Jefferson's gone. Jalen Reagor's gone. Like, it's not like they passed on
Michael Pittman Jr. on the Colts. Nice year.
You weren't drafting him in the first round.
He was like the first pick in the second round.
No, T. Higgins was drafted higher.
You could have picked T. Higgins.
T. Higgins isn't a significant upgrade from anybody we've mentioned.
Yeah, but going in, it's like this is another playmaker to add. T. Higgins is obviously more dynamic than Alan Lazard.
I don't want to talk about dynamic when Alan Lazard had almost 10 touchdowns this season.
Because Aaron Rodgers is making a name out of nobody.
So wait a minute. So if a dude performs, Aaron Rodgers made the name. When he doesn't perform
by Jacksonville.
So what?
You mean, so what?
Antonio Brown got cut by Oakland.
Okay, that's a different situation because
it doesn't. We're talking about guys that got cut though.
Lazard couldn't play in Jacksonville. He comes to Green Bay. All of a sudden, he's an outstanding wide receiver out of nowhere.
What are you talking? He hasn't been in Jacksonville for what 2-3 years now.
Because he's been on the Packers,
and he produced this year. I'm saying that if we look in hindsight of what Green Bay did, Robert Tonyan was a Pro Bowler. Regardless of what the thing says, Robert Tonyan was a Pro Bowler. They let Jimmy Graham walk. People called them crazy for that. Alan Lazard had a 700-yard season. Marquez Valdez-Scantling had a 700-yard season. Devontae Adams is the best wide receiver in football. While I understand a lot of that attributes to Aaron Rodgers, you also have to give those guys credit and give the GM a little credit for knowing what he had. Hey, Rodgers has chemistry with these guys. He's led the league in Did he lead the league in touchdowns? I'm pretty sure he did.
Probably.
All right. So under the assumption that he led the league in touchdowns.
Yeah.
I don't talk to me about his weapons after he lost, because if we're going to be honest, y'all need to get your defense you said it yourself. The defense got 2 big turnovers and the offense went 3 and out back to back. How much does that attribute to Aaron Rodgers?
It definitely attributes a little bit, but I'm just saying, you would think they would try to help him more.
I want to hold Aaron accountable. Aaron had a great game. He did. Should Mike LaFleur, not Mike LaFleur. Is it Mike LaFleur? Who's the one on the Jets is Mike? Matt LaFleur.
Matt.
See,
brothers.
I'm getting lost. It is what it is.
It's fine.
But should they have gone for it? I would have gone for it. Do we understand what he was doing?
No.
Yes.
No. Tell me why that makes any sense.
Okay, if they don't get the DPI, if Kevin King doesn't get the DPI call, we're calling him a genius because Aaron Rodgers goes down the field. If they don't get the DPI call, they punt the ball and Aaron Rodgers goes down the field and he scores. That's game.
Yes, but also
we're calling LaFleur a genius then.
You're not. You're not at all.
So he gets no credit.
As soon as it happens, everyone was like, "Why are you not going for it? You're at 4th and goal, which you're on the 8.
You need
I
an
understand.
8.
I understand that's a risky part to go for, but you have Aaron Rodgers and you have this dynamic offense. This is about as close as you're going to get to a touchdown. Why not go for it?
Why? I have Aaron Rodgers.
Dude, exactly. You have Aaron Rodgers on 4th and goal.
But I'm saying, why are we saying that? I'm saying that
you're giving the ball back to TB12 and he could officially end the game.
Was a penalty away. Look, I'm saying this. I don't agree with the call because I don't understand why you would trust your defense in that scenario. But I do understand the idea that, hey, you know what? If I kick this field goal, we just need to come down and score. That's it. If we haven't been good in the red zone.
What tells you, though?
Wait, hold up.
What makes you want to, when looking across the field, you're not playing the Chicago Bears or the Detroit Lions. You're across the field and you're playing Tom Brady.
They've scored 3 points this half.
He has 3
interceptions and they've scored 3 points this half.
If Tom Brady got the ball, you said over under 2 first downs on this drive. What would you say?
What do you mean 2 first downs on this drive?
It would end the game. I'd say, oh yeah, he'll get 2 first downs. Game will be over.
Well, he needed 1, and they gave him the first one because they did the smart thing to get the extra, take the penalty so they could call the timeouts. But my point is, obviously you're gonna say, well, that's the GOAT across from you. That's the GOAT from guard. Yeah, I get that, but I'm saying when the GOAT has come out there, thrown 3 interceptions, and produced 3 points in 30 minutes of football, you can't tell me that it's insane to sit there and be like, you know what? I think our defense is going to get a stop, and I have Aaron Rodgers, and we're going to go down the field and score and call game that way because I don't feel comfortable going for 2 because we haven't produced in the red zone today, which they didn't. Now, look, I don't agree with the call, but I'm saying if that DPI call doesn't get called, we're calling Matt LaFleur a genius, so I don't think that's fair.
I don't think we are calling him a genius.
We're not applauding him for that. If they won because of that field goal, we're not applauding him for that.
No.
I disagree with that. I disagree with that. I don't think
you got to get a touchdown. So what is the field goal doing? Either way, you have to go down and score a touchdown.
If you score a touchdown there and you don't get the 2-point conversion, You're gonna need another score to win the
I
game,
know,
regardless.
You're going for 2 both times anyway.
You don't need to go for 2 both times.
On the next 2 drives, you would need to.
No, you wouldn't. You just need to score and kick a field goal. You'd be down 2. I understand you're gonna say, well, if we get it, look, if they go for it, they don't get it. Tampa's backed in there. They need to get a stop. Then they need to get 2 scores anyway, or they need to get a score to tie the game. So what his thought process was, in my opinion, because I'm not Matt LaFleur, let's get these points now and know we only need 1 score to win. We need 1 touchdown to win. That's it. Is hindsight 2020? Yes, 100%. But we thought for a second, because that flag was thrown late, and we'll talk about the call in a second.
Yeah.
But we thought they got to stop. I understand because I would have went for it. I'm not saying I wouldn't have. I have Aaron Rodgers. I'm on the 8-yard line. We should be able to score here. If we don't score here, we don't deserve the game anyway.
Mm-hmm.
They just prolonged the game. That's all that happened.
I just think it's crazy.
That's really all that happened.
I would have, it wouldn't even run through my mind to kick the field goal. It wouldn't even run through my mind.
I remember watching it and going, they're kicking a field goal. And I said, I guess. You need to stop here. You're trusting your defense. I don't know what told you to trust your defense.
Rodgers is like, what the fuck?
And Matt said that he didn't communicate that to Aaron because Aaron was allowed to call that play. And he said he would have called something else if he knew they
wasn't going for it on 4.
But
you definitely got to tell Rodgers that going into that 1st and goal drive.
Oh, and the bigger question: why doesn't Aaron run into the end zone before that? I'm not shitting on him. I don't know if he would have got to the end zone.
Yeah, I don't. Everyone's like, he would have scored a touchdown. Listen, he would not have scored a touchdown. He had 2 linebackers looking at him. I don't know if you know Aaron Rodgers, but he's not a speedster. He would have got a couple yards. It would have got closer. He would have not scored a touchdown. Yeah, everyone was like, he could have ran it in. It's like, no, he did not have that much room.
I think they would have been in a better situation in hindsight.
Yeah, I agree. Well, he was force feeding it to Devontae Adams down there.
He was.
He threw the 1 ball deep into the back of the end zone. He was practically out of bounds already. It was like, you're just trying to get him the rock. Which I get it, but
right. And I mean, that's the person you trust in those situations anyway. Now about the call. How do you feel about it? Because look, I think it's clearly a hold. Yeah. I don't think there's any way you can't say that. My only issue is I think we need to hold the officiating crew to a certain standard that y'all need to get that call out within 2 hours of the play. I don't know what took so long.
I think I don't even have a problem with that. It came in late. If you get the call right, I don't care if it's early, late, right on time, get the call right. Which it was a hold. We obviously saw him tugging on his jersey or his undershirt, whatever it was. He was obviously holding him back. So if he doesn't even hold him there, maybe the guy catches it, maybe not. We have no idea, right? Mm-hmm. So then maybe they don't even get the drive. It's over. But besides that, obviously it's a hold. But the problem is they were letting the guys play all day. Guys were hand fighting and pushing all day long. So you want to, as a player, we know this from basketball, you want consistency from a ref. Mm-hmm. If I'm touching you and it's not a foul, in the 4th quarter, that better not be a foul.
Right.
And that's what we kind of got right there, where obviously technically by the rule book, that is a hold and that should be a penalty, but it wasn't getting called all day. So I agree with that. Maybe it shouldn't have been called at all and let the game play itself out. But if you look, if you want to go by the book and that's how the NFL is going to do it, it is a hold.
My thing is I understand because I agree with that point 100%. I just think that one was kind of obvious. If you look, the back judge is over there looking and Kevin King's arm is fully extended with a full-handed jersey. And did Tyler Johnson flop a little? Yes. As he should.
As he should.
I heard Aaron Rodgers say that he didn't think the ball was catchable, which actually I agree with. I don't think that ball was catchable.
I think you could have argued that.
Right. But like you said, it's a slippery slope with the thing, especially with Sean Murphy bunting, grabbing Alan Lazard's whole fucking shoulder pad.
They missed that a couple of times.
And that was a big turnover. So I get it. And
you just want to see the consistency from the refs.
Right. It is a consistency thing. I think there's only 2 more questions after this, and that's one you don't want to ask where it's who to blame. I feel that you're saying Matt LaFleur.
I'm gonna say LaFleur, and I'm just gonna say If I had to put one person, I would say LaFleur. Yeah, I'll just keep it at that.
If I had to put one person, I'm saying Mike Pettin. I think he should be fired. I would have fired him.
And I agree with you 100%. He should be fired. He should have been fired like a year or two ago.
100. I don't want to say 100% because their defense has been better, but for a whole season, for your run defense to be a problem, that all of a sudden your pass defense becomes the problem because you're putting guys in horrible situations. I don't know how you can't be held accountable for that. And I think he's getting off a little too easy because that Scotty Miller touchdown, while it's Kevin King's fault for jogging that shit out, which was ridiculous to me. I don't know how the hell you just – that man was going for a stroll with Scotty sprinting up the sideline like he was just going to catch him.
It was mind-boggling. I'm like, no way they just let that happen. Like, insane.
Right. But why are you – didn't the Jets already show you all this? Why are we in man at the end of a half or a game?
I think it was like – I don't even know. Like, I think there might have been like cover one or something. Like, there was nobody back there. It's like, why are we not cover three sending them back? Like, just tackle anything in front of you.
At least cover two, man, and just make them throw it to the middle of the field.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's wild.
Maybe not 100%. I don't want your linebacker all the way back there, but
you get what we're saying.
You get what I'm, yeah. And what's next? I mean, we've seen the Rodgers interview. We've heard what he said on Pat McAfee actually today.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I would, it's.
Should he want out? I think that's the big question. Should he want out?
I don't think. Me personally, I don't have a problem if he does want out. I don't think he's going to want out. I don't think he's going to be moved. The Packers GM or whoever the hell it was came out and was like, "We're stupid if you think we're getting rid of Aaron Rodgers."
Right.
Like, obviously, that's what we all think. I tweeted immediately, Colts, go get yourselves Aaron Rodgers immediately. Give up what you need to. We will win the Super Bowl next year. Get Aaron. Obviously, just a joke. I know we're not going to get him, but it's funny how a team makes it to the NFC Championship game, and after that game, people want to blow the whole franchise up. Like, I do think this was their year if they were going to get it done, but they're going to have a chance again next year. They're going to lose Aaron Jones, so they're going to need to pick up a weapon or two. But they'll be back in the playoffs next year with Aaron Rodgers. But Rodgers definitely doesn't make it easy on the Packers either. They're like, hey, are you going to be here next year? He's like, he'll just be like, yeah, I don't know. Or like, no one's job is safe around here. Like, he's not like, yeah, you'll see me in a Packers uniform next year. He's just like, is what it is. We'll see.
I actually have no problem with that answer because obviously he said on the McAfee show today that no one's job is guaranteed in this business.
Yeah.
And I get that. I mean, you should understand that you're Aaron Rodgers and your job
He's pushing the line. He knows what he's doing.
So I get that. But I also think he's applying pressure because obviously you mentioned Aaron Jones, but Corey Linsley, their center, is a free agent. Lane Taylor, their starting guard's a free agent. Robert Tonyan and Alan Lazard are restricted. Mercedes Lewis is a UFA. Jamal Williams is a UFA. And, I mean, technically Kevin King's a UFA. I wouldn't bring him back per se after that. But
they're gonna have to retool.
And I don't think he should want out. I don't know where he can go and have a better chance.
Indianapolis Colts, hands down.
No, you have to face Mahomes before you get to the Super Bowl. You're not getting to a Super Bowl.
Fuck.
You're not getting to a Super Bowl.
I don't give a fuck who we got to play. If we have Aaron Rodgers, we will beat the Kansas City Chiefs next year.
I don't think you will.
One of the best O-lines in football. One of the best running backs in football. The wide receiving core, maybe we can add one piece to.
So wait, hold on. Off that right there. So he's going to go from throwing to Devontae Adams to throwing to Paris Campbell. And we've been talking about first-round receivers all day. There is no way
I said you're going to say one receiver.
You're not going to be able to once you get Aaron.
We'll have Michael Pittman Jr. We'll have Paris Campbell. We have a good slew of tight ends. Doyle. I mean, I don't know who's coming back next year, but Burton, Malawi, Cox. One of the best offensive lines in football. A top 10 defense.
So you think with Aaron Rodgers, your team is better than the Packers right now, as presently constructed?
Yeah, 100%. That's not even a question in my mind. We are better.
For our listeners, if you didn't know Tom's a Colt fan, that definitely proved it right there.
It's a fact.
I really don't think that. I'm sorry. I don't think no. I don't think y'all are.
With a guy like Frank Reich too, who will go for it on 4th and 100, Like Aaron
Now
Rodgers
Frank Reich's a significantly better coach than Matt LaFleur.
Aaron Rodgers would love it over there in Indianapolis. Oh, he'd be a legend immediately.
Frank Reich's a significantly better coach than Matt LaFleur.
No, I think they're both good coaches, but I'm just saying he'd love Frank Reich.
Okay,
Frank
now defensively, do you have anyone
shallow.
do you have anyone in that secondary like Jair Alexander?
No, but they got nobody like Darius Leonard.
Do you have anyone that can guard Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill, Sammy Watkins, Nicole Hardman? I really don't see y'all getting packed. Even with that, like, put it this way: if my goal is to get to the Super Bowl, my goal is to go to the NFC, because even if Tom Brady comes back next year, he's gonna be 44 years old.
Right.
Drew Brees is most likely retiring.
You can also look at it like this, though.
Who else is there?
If I beat the Chiefs, I'm winning the fucking Super Bowl. If the Patrick Mahomes gets hurt or something and they get upset, I'm winning the Super Bowl.
It depends where you came from, though. It's hard to go all the way from the wild card.
If we have Aaron Rodgers, bro, we're winning our division. That's a fact. Just stop.
I don't think it's a fact.
The Titans are gonna stop.
There's a good team in your division.
What, Trevor Lawrence or something in Jacksonville?
We're not talking about Jacksonville and Houston, obviously. I'm just saying that there is a nice team in your division.
Come on, stop it.
I don't see the lore of Indy. I don't think that makes sense. I think Chicago has a good. I really don't get it. Like, all right, you have.
There's only a couple teams that make sense. San Fran, obviously, for all the reasons everybody knows.
But is that better than Green Bay? I don't think that's better than Green Bay either.
I'm not sure.
Your O-line's definitely worse. All right. The thing you can argue with the Colts is the Colts have a at least equal-ish offensive line. Yeah. You have to fill a left tackle spot, which is going to be a big deal.
Yeah, we will.
But when it comes to San Fran, all right, you have a solid offensive line: Trent Williams, McGlinchey, other players. I know I was going to say Joe Staley, but I know he retired. You have Brandon Ayuk and Deebo Samuel as your main receivers, who are nice, but they're hurt a lot. Like, best ability is availability.
Kyle Shanahan calling plays.
Kyle, that's another guy who doesn't make good play calls come in the big games, though.
Come on, come on. That offensive scheme he has is very good.
Why did the Falcons lose to the Patriots?
Okay, because they kept throwing the ball. Because they kept throwing it.
Okay, who was the play caller?
Kyle Shanahan.
But okay, there we go. Why did San Francisco lose to...
We've seen the Falcons do that even without Kyle Shanahan. That's just what they fucking
why did San Francisco lose to Kansas City last year?
I don't remember.
All right. We'll leave it at he doesn't remember.
Hey, they beat the Packers last year. Give him Aaron Rodgers instead of Jimmy G. It's a wrap.
I'm saying if I'm Aaron Rodgers, I don't see that as a significantly better place. I mean, I understand that you have a better defense. But Richard Sherman's supposedly trying to leave.
Yeah.
Nick Bosa coming off an ACL might not be the same. DeForest Buckner's over with you, not with them anymore. I think that defense is probably going to take a loss with no Robert Saleh. Like, I don't think that's a significantly better location, and you have to wow me. The one that throws out to me is Chicago, but Green Bay's not going to trade him
there.
Yeah, Green Bay's not going to trade him in division. So why would I ever think about leaving? I think it makes no sense to leave. Like, apply the pressure, make sure they get shit done. If anything, I think he's more talking about retirement, because I don't see Aaron Rodgers being one of those guys that plays till he's 42, 45 years old. He seems like he wants to. I don't want to say his heart's not in it anymore, because it clearly is. He just won the MVP. And I don't want to say he doesn't have the ability, because he does. But do you see Aaron Rodgers playing as long as Drew Brees and Tom Brady, or do you see him being more like Peyton Manning and being done at like 38? I mean, isn't he 37 right now? So like, let's say 39, 40. I think that's more realistic.
If you base off this year, it's like, all right, that guy can play for 5 more years. But obviously, as he ages every year, he's not going to be maybe as good. I think you have a solid 3. Maybe after that, you got to,
And I think that's what his contract's for, 2 to 3 more years.
Yeah.
I think
obviously Green Bay is not a bad spot for Aaron Rodgers. They're a very good team every year.
Mm-hmm.
But if he's going to win a Super Bowl, maybe he might need to change a location. Indianapolis, Indiana is great all year round. That's all I'm saying.
I just don't understand from the perspective of Aaron Rodgers. Like, maybe the Rams?
I've heard that too.
But you
But
don't
they would
have.
have to
But now
move.
you're
They have
going
to
back
move
to not
Goff.
having a running game.
You got
You're
Cam
going
Akers.
back to that. I know they have Cam Akers, but Aaron Jones to Cam Akers.
Yeah.
And even if they let Aaron Jones walk in Green Bay, you're gonna say, "Oh, well, they don't have one." AJ Dillon's about to pop up.
Yeah, AJ Dillon's a beast.
AJ Dillon's about to be a beast, so that might be a significant change if they can't bring him back, and they just bring AJ Dillon and Jamal Williams. I think that's a good enough backfield.
Yeah, their running backfield's fine. I mean, Jones obviously leaving doesn't help, but AJ Dillon's going to be a good back, and Jamal's like your power back.
And Will Fuller's a free agent anyway, so
yeah,
they wanted him. They made moves from it, couldn't happen. Throw the bag at him. They have to do something. They have to do something.
Like this year, listen, you drafted Jordan Love. Nobody agreed with it. This year, go get Aaron Rodgers something because you don't need a quarterback.
Can we talk about that a little bit too before we get into the next game? Why are people bringing that up now? I feel like people are just holding that in like, oh, look, you drafted Jordan Love. Obviously, we've talked about who else would you have drafted and stuff like that. Yeah. But if Aaron wants out or Aaron wants to retire tomorrow, you have Jordan Love. Doesn't that kind of prove the point?
My thing is like, if I'm in their situation and I know I'm Super Bowl contending, why do I need this backup quarterback in the first round? If I want a guy years from now, I could take somebody in the third and see how I groom them and see how that comes. A first round pick, you can get a talented player immediately that can help you immediately. So taking a quarterback who, first of all, no one even knows. Obviously, no one knows if he's good or not. We haven't seen him yet.
So he was hyped as the next Mahomes. Let's just put that out there. He was hyped like that.
Doesn't make sense to me.
Now look, obviously this person is going to be a significantly less of a quarterback than Aaron Rodgers. But isn't this what Kansas City did? Because Alex Smith was balling and KC was getting to the second round of the playoffs, getting to the AFC Championship. I don't know if they got to the AFC Championship game with Alex Smith, but they were getting close. And then they traded up to 10 to take Patrick Mahomes. I'm not saying Jordan Love is Patrick Mahomes, but you took Jordan Love at 26. And if he was the best player on your board, I don't see why not, especially when Aaron Rodgers proved he could do what he can with his weapons. And this idea that, oh, he's asking for one. When have we seen him ask for one? He praised how Valdez-Scantling played in that game. So I don't think his issue is his weapons. The play call I get. Like, we've already said that a million times. Like, I get why he'd be upset about the play call, why he'd feel that they need to make a move because he understands that a lot of people's contracts are up. A lot of people aren't going to be there. Hey, I'm getting pretty old. You got to do something before it actually makes sense for me to walk out the door. Like, that's kind of what it says for me.
Just Packers, go help Aaron Rodgers, all right?
Agreed. Aaron, help yourself a little bit too. How about we don't go 3 now?
Those were bad.
The other game, AFC Championship game, went exactly how we expected.
What was the final score again?
38-24, Kansas City Chiefs, back-to-back Super Bowl appearances.
I don't like to brag, Eric. I don't. But did I not say Kansas City by 14? Did I not say Kansas City by 2 touchdowns?
I believe you actually said that.
I said that, and it came to fruition. And
run back the tape.
Run it. Yeah. I said Kansas City by 2 touchdowns. I was completely right. The game went how I thought, besides the beginning. Obviously, it was 9-0 Bills.
You were sweating at the beginning.
I was like, oh, you fuck around like this, you'll lose a playoff game. But can anybody beat them? Like, if Tampa at home for a Super Bowl with the GOAT quarterback can't beat them, who the fuck is going to beat the Kansas City Chiefs in the next couple of years, as long as this nucleus is still together? It didn't look like the Bills and Chiefs should be on the same field yesterday.
And that was actually my first question. Is this one of the best teams we've seen?
I don't know how you stop them. In the regular season, I think you could upset them because maybe they're not 100% in. This isn't the playoffs. You know, whatever. Like, the Raiders got them one time, almost got them again. The Falcons almost got them, whatever. But when it's like, you know, they say you can't, like, flip a switch. I feel like
they can do it. Yeah, they actually do it.
Like, they're like, Mahomes is like, all right, in his weird ass voice that he has. He's like, "Yo, let's turn up," and it was 9-0, and then it was 21-9 in the second quarter, and it was just like, "Oh, this game's probably over. There's no chance the Bills come back and win because you're not going to stop Mahomes anymore. Like this game's a wrap. You can't play man because you have Tyreek Hill. You can't play zone because Travis Kelce just sits in open spots and catches it. I don't know how you beat them. You got to get a pass rush, and you can't let Mahomes get out of the pocket. If he gets out of the pocket, it's Tyreek Hill 70-yard play.
The crazy thing is when they get out of the pocket, like those guys readjust their routes so quickly.
They're always coming back to pass.
Like they're just finding open space, and they know Patrick's gonna find. They play backyard football once he gets out of the pocket.
And Damian Williams is running well. Bill obviously didn't play. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, I think, came back, right? He played.
Like, yeah, he played a little bit.
Yeah, so like the running backs are no joke either. They can run if they want, but I don't know how you stop Mahomes. And it's really insane. Like we thought, you even texted me like, "Y'all got a weird feel the Bills might pull it off," and it's like, oh shit, they're blowing out the Bills. Like,
hey, I felt right at the beginning.
Like, oh wait, this is the hottest team in football, the Buffalo Bills, with Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs. Like this could be a team to do it, and it's like, no, they're not even close. They're not even close.
I think they were the closest. I think anyone else played, this would have been.
And let's be real, the Kansas City defense is playing well right now. They're
very well.
Tyrann Mathieu running around that field making plays. The pass rush is good. Like they're not no slouches deal like they were last year, 2 years ago, where they were giving up 50 points, but they were scoring 50 points. Like it ain't like that team.
And this game kind of reminded me of the Houston game where Houston, I mean, obviously 9-0 isn't
not as dramatic. Yeah.
But it's like you saw them just turn it on. Like
it's crazy.
All of a sudden they just woke up like, hey, like, no, we're not stop.
Yeah.
They came out a little spicier than we thought. Like, let's show up. And something that stood out to me was, I don't know if you saw it, the video of Mecole Hardman after he drops the punt.
Mm-hmm.
And
he covers himself.
And Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes. We know with leaders like that, and I'm not the intangible guy, you know, I want to stick to what's on the field. But with leaders like that,
it doesn't hurt. Yeah.
Really hard to beat a team. Like, because you know what? It wasn't just Mahomes and Kelce. You saw the coaching staff go to Mecole Hardman, play after play.
Like, oh, you fumbled? Well, guess what? Here's a touchdown, and here's a 50-yard end-around play you're about to run.
How you feel? We're going to get you in a position to succeed. Yeah. So you feel, hey, yo, he's down on himself. Let's pick him up. Run the end around. Run the screen.
Hats off to Andy Reid for that.
100%. And Eric Bieniemy. Like,
and Bieniemy, yeah.
Those guys get him thing. Like, Travis.
Because I know, obviously, I wasn't high on the Bills all year, but they made the AFC Championship game, so obviously you can't say their season was a failure or anything. What do you think of this Bills team going next? You think they're back in this position next year?
I'm actually a little nervous.
I think I would be too.
I don't. Now, look, I like Josh Allen. I like him a lot now. I didn't like him originally. Prove me wrong.
He's going to be around for a while.
He is another top QB in this league.
Yeah.
Now, I'm in that position. Like, can he do it again?
Like, can him and Diggs had that magical season they had this year? It's like,
I don't think it's Diggs. I think Diggs has kind of stamped himself because this is Diggs' first time by himself. We knew how crazy he was when he was across from Adam Thielen, but we always kind of saw him as the number 2 to Adam. When in reality,
he's obviously a true number 1.
Yeah, when in reality he was a number 1.
Yeah.
But I want to know where Josh Allen kind of goes from here because how are you going to upgrade the roster more? Like, you need a running game. You definitely need a running game. If there's a team that should go get Aaron Jones, it is the Buffalo Bills.
But also, they need to run the ball. They don't run. Like, even if they had the back, they don't run. They throw 70% of the time.
Well, I think they don't run because I told people I'm not a believer in Devin Singletary right now. I understand his draft hype and how he played in some games his rookie year, but he doesn't scream like real number 1 back to me, at least at this point. And they drafted Zach Moss, who it hurt them when he got hurt because he was contributing a lot. But, yo, you put Aaron Jones and Zach Moss and let Devin Singletary go somewhere else. Ooh,
that does sound dangerous.
I'm not nervous anymore.
The thing is, like, I could see this team being around, but then I could also see him being 10-6 next year, maybe missing the playoffs by like a hair. Like I could see that happening for Buffalo.
I'm not gonna lie. I see them winning the division again next year. Maybe it will be 11-5, 12-4, a little less than this year.
Does suck. That's a good point.
I don't want to say it sucks because we saw Miami get better. I think the Jets are going to get better. I think New England's going to be better. So I don't really know how that's going to go.
Yeah.
But I don't really know where you can make any significant upgrades because guys on that defense are getting older. Like Micah Hyde's been around for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Jordan
Tre'Davious
White. I don't want to say he's getting too old. Like he's kind of
but
him and Jordan Poyer are kind of in their prime. Tremaine Edmonds. Yeah, like maybe they go get a guy like Jadeveon Clowney who had a bad year in Tennessee, try to bring him I think as the roster's presently constructed, I'm a little nervous. I expect them to be in the playoffs again. I expect them to win a playoff game again. But when it comes to contending with the Chiefs and really putting themselves on that map as, a real Super Bowl contender, or like Josh Allen as that QB that's going to face Mahomes, like, no. Like, fuck Lamar, fuck everybody else. It's going to be me and Patrick.
What the hell was the graphic that had Josh Allen checked?
We know what ESPN does.
Like, are y'all just trying? Like, I know you're hurting with ratings and shit, but like, what are y'all doing? Like,
the wide receiver one, I'm not even mad at. Obviously, I have Tyreek Hill over Stephon Diggs.
Check both of them. Like, make it a draw. Like, just check both of them for wide receiver.
Yeah, that's fine too.
Both are amazing. Both are number ones. Obviously, check them both. But I mean, like, let's not try to get people talking about us. Like,
it's not obviously like,
let's get social media going crazy. Let's say Josh Allen's better. It's like, come on, man.
Yeah, no, that makes no sense. There's no way.
Yeah, it's stupid.
But no. I think they're a big move away. I think they just need a big pass rusher or a big running back to really solidify it. Because I think, hey, Cole Beasley is a top slot receiver. Props to him. Maybe John Brown comes back healthier. And if not, Gabriel Davis he had a great year. I could see him being a good number 2. So
he had some wild catches.
Fingers crossed if you're a Buffalo fan. But with that being said, Super Bowl matchup, Tampa Bay versus KC. 2 weeks from now, you're gonna get our predictions a little later. But first impressions, I kind of see KC taking it off the top of my head. Tampa's gonna put up a fight, but I don't know unless that Eric Fisher injury is really gonna be that significant.
Right.
I don't know if anyone's gonna stop this team.
My eyes tell me I agree with you. But what I brought before that, and this is what I'm holding on to, hoping that it's a good game, is it destiny for this Tampa team to win this Super Bowl, being at home with Tom Brady? Like, is that this year's story? Mm-hmm. But if you just look at the matchup, it's like, oh, this is a bad matchup for Tampa. This is not a good matchup for them.
And I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of upset because I think we both love when it doesn't go how we predicted.
Yeah.
But coming into the season, it was all, Tampa and KC, we're gonna get Tampa and KC, we're gonna get Tampa and KC. And how crazy how this season went, we still got Tampa and KC.
You still got it. I will say the NFL they couldn't have written this story better for themselves. To have the GOAT against the guy that seems like he might be the GOAT when it's all said and done, like, future versus like all that stuff's going to go into that game. You know that, like, is this Mahomes' crown now? Blah, blah, blah. It's going to be an awesome build-up for the game.
Mm-hmm.
I hope Tampa wins. I really do. If I had to bet on it, I would probably say Kansas City. You can't pick against them. You can't.
And since we're talking about Kansas City, friend of the show, my sports radio co-host Daniel Mercado put up a big question about Tyreek Hill maybe being the best receiver in football. I know this is something you wanted to talk about. So, What is your opinion on this?
This question's so hard because it's like, obviously we know you can almost flip a couple guys and put them at number one. I'm not mad. You can tell me Julio Jones is number one receiver in football. I'll agree with you.
Mm-hmm.
You can tell me Devontae Adams number one. I agree with you. You can tell me D Hop's number one. I'm like, yeah, sure, he could be number one. I wouldn't have said Tyreek Hill. I would be like, yeah, he's like 4. After like the physical freak guys. But when I'm listening to people explain why they think he's the best, it makes a lot of sense. It's like, who has more of an impact on a game than Tyreek Hill? But no, you can't say any wide receiver has more impact on a game. Going into a game, I can't imagine what defense coordinator is thinking against Tyreek Hill. Like against Kelsey, you might be able to be like, let's jam him at the line, be physical. Like you can't put a defense in man at any point in the game, or Tyreek Hill would burn you for 70 yards. He changes everything you do. And I'm not going to say he's the best receiver in football. Mm-hmm. I think it's still Julio Jones. I'm going to stick with that. I think Devontae's right there at 2, D-Hop's right there. You could switch a couple out, like I said, but you could make an argument for him being the best receiver in football.
I think he has an argument, but my pushback on the reasoning would be, I think if Devontae was in Kansas City, you wouldn't be able to play man either, because the reason people still played man against Green Bay is kind of, well, we'll let him get we'll contain him, let him get his 10 catches for 85 and his TD, because you're not good. You can't put man on him. You can't really.
No, you can't. You can't.
But we're gonna take our chance and let everyone else beat us, because he can't throw to him all day.
Right.
With Tyreek Hill, I also think it's a lot of scheme. I have him at 4 on my list. I have him ahead of Michael Thomas, ahead of Mike Evans, ahead of Stephon Diggs, DK Metcalf, guys like that. And don't get fucked up. The receiver list is long. There are a lot of good receivers in this game.
Yeah, there is.
But I have Devontae Adams as the best receiver in the game. I
can't argue that.
I don't see how he's not. I'd have D-Hop at 2. Like, don't forget, Julio and Devontae came out and said, yeah, no, I'm the best receiver in the game. And the next day, D-Hop caught the Hail Murray over 3 receivers. So let's put respect on his name too, and what he's done with the amount of quarterbacks he's had. And Julio's Julio. I just think I got to put him down because, bro, you've been hurt for like 3 years now. Haven't been able to put the touchdowns together with the yards recently. But Julio's a Hall of Famer. So
yeah, he's ridiculous.
Probably top 5. So I don't want to be premature. What he can do is electric. He's crazy. But he's top 5, bro. He's top 5.
He's top 5, definitely.
And that shouldn't be disrespect. Like,
no,
it shouldn't be seen as disrespect. Like, especially on that list. Like, come on.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you.
But we also have a fun segment right now, because obviously there's only been 2 games. There's not much to talk about.
Yeah.
We carried the Rodgers shit as much as we could, and it's time to talk about that NFL QB casserole that we have that's about to happen.
Yeah.
We have a lot of QBs that could be on the move. We're gonna do. I want you to give me if they're gonna leave or if they're gonna stay, and then a team that you would want them to see on versus a team they might go to.
Okay.
So it's going to be kind of like 3 layers, right? Okay. And since we already touched on it, Aaron Rodgers is on this list for reasons, but he's going to be the first off the board. Do you think Aaron Rodgers is going to leave or stay? I know where you would like to see him, but if you have him leaving, where do you see him going?
I think it would be insane to see Aaron Rodgers in a different uniform. Like, it's hard to picture Aaron Rodgers not in a Packers uniform. I think he stays. They're stupid if they get rid of him, unless Jordan Love is Patrick Mahomes. Like, it doesn't make sense. Obviously, if he were to leave, Indianapolis is a great spot I'd like to see him at. But he's going to stay. So there's no reason to pick another spot he's going to go to, because he's going to be in Green Bay next year. Now, listen, when his contract's up,
He'll be
What is he
41.
He'll be 41. He might catch a year somewhere. You don't know.
Who knows? I have him staying too. Like I said, I don't think it makes sense to go anywhere. If I had to pick a team I'd want to see him on, it would be Chicago because you play Green Bay twice a year,
Like a
and
little Favre action when he went to the Vikings.
yeah, like a little something like that. And on top of that, obviously they'd have to retain Allen Robinson.
Yeah,
So
that's
I
not gonna
think
happen.
I think it'd be kind of a parallel of what he already has with a better defense. So I'd say Chicago, but he's gonna stay.
Agreed.
Next, the man that made news, Deshaun Watson. You think he's gonna leave or stay? Especially with the news coming out that now the Jets are number 1 on his board,
Uh-huh.
Dolphins are number 2, and everyone else follows. Do you think he's leaving? He's staying? What's up?
I think he's definitely leaving. I don't think there's any way he stays in Houston now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when we first brought this up in the first report, I was like, he's not leaving. Like, you're not moving to Sean, but he's obviously made it evident that he will not play it down in Houston, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Where I'd like to see him, there's a couple spots, honestly. Realistically, I think he's cool on the Dolphins. Deshaun Watson in Miami, lighting it up would be a superstar. I also like him in New York. Him in a big city, his superstar would be taken to another level, just like Miami. Those are big markets, a lot of eyes on you. It's tough to say where you think he's going to go because it's like, does Saleh want his first move as a head coach and with Joe Douglas to be trading for Deshaun? It's so hard at this one. You know, I said I thought a dark horse team would come out of nowhere, but now I'm leaning towards saying the New York Jets are the team that he's going to go to.
I like to hear that. I love to hear that. I am so torn with the leave or stay because half of me still thinks Nick Caserio is not going to let his first move as general manager be get rid of Deshaun Watson.
It is crazy.
I think they're going to hire Bieniemy and really try. I know he came out and said, well, I don't know if he came out, but rumors are that the head coaching decision isn't going to have an effect on if he wants to stay or not.
Yeah.
So that's hard for me, but I'm leaning towards him leaving. Where do I want to see him?
Gangrene.
It's actually not Gangrene.
Really?
I want to see him in New Orleans really bad.
He would absolutely light it up in New Orleans.
If he can get with Michael Thomas and Alvin Kamara, that offensive line and that defense, it's gonna hurt. I think it would hurt Drew Brees' legacy a little bit, but I don't think we're getting the same old Saints anymore.
I don't know if that's possible with their salary cap situation, even if Brees leaves, because I know they're like minus.
Oh no, we can move people. We can move people.
That's true. You do need to move. They need to move people anyway, so they're going to be letting people go. But if you had kept him with those weapons, he would absolutely light it up.
I don't think he's going to go there. I don't think they have enough capital because I think he is actually going to end up with the Jets. I don't see a package that can match 3 first-round picks and Sam Darnold. I don't really see a package that matches that.
No, I don't think so either.
That seems on the table.
And the Dolphins have came out, I think, right, that they're sticking with Tua, like most likely.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen that they're like, we're riding with Tua again next year. So I don't think that's 100% true yet, but that's what the rumblings are. So they're probably not giving him up, maybe. So it leans towards the Jets now.
Ooh, and if he goes to the Jets, get ready because y'all were talking a lot of first-round pick shit that I told you we didn't need.
You still need to plug up some holes.
I'm gonna wait. I'm just gonna wait. All right. Next, another person that wants out, Matt Stafford.
Yeah.
Leaving or staying?
That's an obvious one.
Where is he? Where do you want to see him? And where is he going?
Obviously, he's leaving. Him and the organization have said they're parting ways, like basically no matter what. Indianapolis, I've said this since the season ended for us.
Since last season began, actually.
Since last season began, I've been saying Matthew Stafford as a Colt makes perfect sense. We would be electric with Matt Stafford in Indy. There's obviously a couple teams you could go to, teams that we've mentioned before, the Niners, the Bears, the Colts. If the Saints pulled off somehow, maybe the Saints. But I really think he is going to leave and he's going to be a Colt. I'm going to speak it into existence. He's going to be an Indianapolis Colt next year. We're going to be a Super Bowl contending team. You believe that?
I would believe it with Matt Stafford. I know I said I wouldn't really take it with Aaron Rodgers, but it's with Matt. I think Matt Stafford just fits so much. It does seem like
he fits so well.
I feel like I could see it, man. That little crystal ball. I think
good in that blue too. I've seen Photoshop
he does.
Pictures. He looks good in the Indy blue.
So it's fair to say I think he's leaving. I think it's going to be mutual part ways. I think they shook hands and they were like, hey, we just have to make different decisions for the organization and it's your choice. You tell us. And I respect that. I respect Detroit taking that approach. The surprise is I actually want to see him in Minnesota.
Ew.
I would love him. Can you imagine? You have to deal with Adam Thielen, Justin Jefferson, Matt Stafford, and Dalvin Cook. That is wild. I don't think that's happening though. I think he's gonna end up in Indy, and I love Indy too. Indy is my close second. People are talking about the Niners. I just don't see him in San Fran. I don't
see that. I mean, it obviously makes sense. I don't see it happening though either.
So,
Indy, baby, make it happen.
Hey, I hope so. And I mean, teams that have been in every one, I feel like, is the Niners, the Saints, and the Vikings. No, and the Bears, not the Vikings. My bad. And the Jets a little bit.
You think the Steelers are looking? I know they just signed Haskins before and stuff, but.
Ooh. You know what? Since you brought it up, he's not even on the list. Ben Roethlisberger, leaving or staying? Obviously, it would have to be retirement, but that is a question. I mean, Phillip Rivers just called it quits, and shout out to him. Little round of applause for Phillip. Great career. Might not be a Hall of Famer in my book, but it's not time to talk about that. Nope. Time to celebrate your greatness, my man.
Yes, yeah. 17 years, put up huge numbers.
Huge numbers. Great last year. Going out
respect.
Going out slinging, throwing that.
Yeah, respectful Phil. Big Ben, I think he stays one more year and then he's done after the next season.
I'm gonna say one more year too. I don't think he wants to go out like that. I also think the way Big Ben is, he wants to say he lasted the longest out of that class. Eli, Phillip, Ben, back to back years. So I think he's gonna stay. That was just a short conversation because that wasn't even on the list.
Mm-hmm.
The next one. Carson Wentz leaving or staying?
I actually think he's staying now. I think obviously it was, him or Doug Peterson. They made it look like, and they got rid of Doug. I think he stays and he battles it out with Hurts. I didn't think this was going to happen a couple weeks ago when we talked about it. I was like, he's out of Philly, obviously. But now things have changed. I think he'll be in Philly next year. If he's not in Philly, I think a team like the Bears, probably Carson Wentz fits in well with. You kind of don't really have to change your system that much with Nagy because Wentz is mobile like Trubisky is a little bit. Mm-hmm. So you can do a lot of your play action, boot plays, and I think Chicago make the most sense. I'd like to see him. I'll say Chicago too. Why not? Give Chicago fans a real quarterback.
All right. I also think he's staying. I originally did not think the Peterson firing had to do with Carson. I thought they were going to get them both the fuck out of there.
Yeah, same.
But then they hired that boy Nick out of fucking nowhere. So I guess he's staying.
It would seem like that.
Where would I want to see him? Indy. I know you hate it, but I would want to see him in Indy if he's gone. I don't think he's going anywhere, though, so I got him staying. Now, another person not on the list that just crossed my mind, and that's what makes the podcast so fun, bro.
It's not scripted fully.
Just crossed my mind. We both think Carson's staying.
Mm-hmm.
So what about Jalen? Is he staying or going?
You know, that's a really good question. I haven't thought about it one bit. If Carson Wentz is staying, and that hiring of the Colts offensive coordinator would make you think that Wentz is the reason they're going to go into next year, like he's a starting quarterback, I could see a team trading for Jalen Hurts. I really could. A team maybe like Washington. I
They're
don't
not
think
letting that in division.
I don't. Oh yeah, that's true. I don't think the Niners would probably trade for him. I don't think they'd see that much of a difference between him and Jimmy G. Probably. Obviously, they play different, but you know what I mean. I'm gonna say he's out. I say he gets traded for next year.
I'm gonna say he's staying as a contingency plan. I think they're
That
gonna
would
wait.
make sense, but I could. Damn, what's a team that would take a gamble for him? Like
I think Houston.
Houston would make sense. Yeah.
If Houston doesn't like alternate universe right now, deep into it, Twilight Zone shit. All right.
Got you.
They take picks and they don't take a quarterback back.
They send one over there.
They just send Deshaun. They call Philly and say, hey, if y'all want to move up and take Devontae Smith or Jamar Chase, because I know you need a receiver, you can take our pick. We'll move back, but we have to take Jalen. And we'll give you a second, too. Let's take one of the seconds or one of the future firsts we just got.
Oh, that's actually a pretty good trade, too.
And it's interesting because then they can still draft a guy with question marks like a Justin Fields or a Zach Wilson and just let them battle it out for who's going to be the franchise QB.
I like that. See, that makes a lot of sense. And it's not like, obviously, the new coach stuff doesn't matter, but he plays a little bit like Deshaun, too, like getting out of the pocket, making plays.
And you have a bad line, so you need a guy running anyway.
Yeah.
So, I
like that.
It's one of those. It's one of those. It sounds good, but I think he's staying. I just don't.
Yeah.
Just in case Carson fucks up again. Next, Jared Goff, leaving or staying?
He's staying because of his contract. I think McVay would like to have a different quarterback in there. Obviously, he's not going to move off Goff to put in a backup. It's not to that point, but if he were able to get, I mean, don't even talk about Aaron Rodgers became a Ram, like you said before. Rodgers and McVay's offense would be absolutely ridiculous. But I don't think he's come out and kind of said statements where it's like, seems like he's not really sold on Goff, as none of us really are. We've said we don't think Goff's very good. He can make throws, but he's not like elite. He's going to stay because his contract's insane. I don't know who would take on that deal. I'll say he stays. Maybe him and Jimmy G swap for fun. Like,
that would be wild for fun.
Like there's like, you know what, this didn't work out for us, didn't work out for you. You get Jimmy G, we get Goff. I don't know, something like that.
I think Jared's staying. I think the contract's a part of it, but I don't think he's on the move yet. I think the reason we're seeing it come up is because we're talking about the elite of elite when we're talking about moving him. Like we're talking about Deshaun, like Aaron Rodgers, like the names that have come across to replace him are top names.
Yeah.
So I think if they can't get one of those top names, they're going to stick with them. Maybe it's question time. Maybe it's not. It's not like he played bad in the playoffs.
No.
Considering he had a fractured thumb, like, he played okay. He's been to a Super Bowl before. Don't panic. Rock with him a little longer. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he's better than we think.
Maybe.
Next, Matt Ryan, leaving or
Matty
staying?
Ice. I think he's staying again due to his contract, but I do think the Falcons are drafting a quarterback. But they'll sit behind Ryan for a year or two until they find out what they really want to do with Ryan. Because you look at the team offensively, they're still stacked. Wide receiver, quarterback. They didn't replace Gurley. They could find somebody, though. Like, they still have weapons. They can still put up points. It's always a defense that's the problem. He's staying because he has, like, the most guaranteed money in the NFL. So
I think this is going to be the shocking one. I think he's leaving. I don't know what it is. Like, I don't know why I think it, but it just feels like he's going to San Francisco. to go back with
Damn.
Kyle Shanahan. It just feels that way. Like who else would fit San Francisco so perfect if they can't get Rodgers or Deshaun or guys like
There's
that?
a good fit. Back with
Like
his OC that won an MVP.
that was the only time he ever won an MVP, only time he ever played like that, only time he was
Yeah.
ever in a Super Bowl. And he still has talent. Like we see him.
Yeah, he's a good quarterback.
You don't have to change the offense at all.
No.
So I think he's going to San Francisco. And I actually love it. I would love to see him in San Francisco.
That would be a cool thing to see. I'd like to see that.
Cam Newton. Leaving or staying?
He's leaving. He had a horrible year. The Patriots would seem like they have to draft a quarterback. I mean, maybe they're in a play for one of these QBs, but I don't think so due to the zero talent they have on their roster basically right now. I don't think a QB sees that and wants to go there. He's leaving. No idea where the hell he's going to be playing next year.
Is he a starter or is he a backup?
I don't know if I see a team picking him up as a backup. I could see him sitting in free agency for a while. And if the quarterback goes down, then they're like, all right, call Cam. Let's get him. I could see that. Like, I don't see him like in a Jameis role where a team's like, we're going to groom you because Breeze is gone. You'll take over next year. Because he's not that kind of quarterback. He's like that kind of guy.
Mm-hmm.
He's obviously older, injury prone. If he's not gone by the training camp, I can see him sitting in free agency until QB gets hurt. And obviously one QB will get hurt. Happens every year.
Mm-hmm.
And he'll sign with a team like that. I will say this, though. Ron Rivera, if you sign Cam Newton, I'm just going to laugh my ass off. Anywhere that guy goes, he just wants to bring anybody who was on that Panthers team. Like, he's literally just trying to remake that team.
I really don't know why he's doing that, but you're 100% right there. But I'm going to shock you again. And I didn't think he was going to stay until I watched another podcast, I Am Athlete, with Brandon Marshall, Channing Crowder, Chad Ochocinco, and Fred Taylor. Very, very good podcast. Check us out. Check them out. They don't give a shit, but I enjoy it, so fuck it. But Ocho said something very smart. He said Bill Belichick understands that Cam didn't have an offseason and how complex his offense is. So with that being said, he thinks he's going to give Cam another chance at it. He's not going to bring him in competition or anything like that. Maybe they draft someone. Maybe they pick someone up. But he thinks that Cam is going to go in there and get another shot at running that offense with the contingency plan, though. And I could see that because if he ends up becoming New England's backup, I could also see that where you need guys to hover around. Think about it. You've had the same guy in that system for how many years? It took Jimmy G how long to be there? So I think he's staying, but you're going to see with this next one.
Hey, I don't care what scheme you have. You can tell if a guy can throw the ball, and Cam cannot throw.
He looked good weeks 1 through 3. And then he got COVID. And then he just wasn't the same
it was like
at all.
The Monstars in Space Jam, but they took all his talent. COVID was like, give me all that.
So I don't know. I just have this weird feeling that he's saying. Next to Jimmy G.
I think he's leaving. I could see him. I'd like to see him in New England, and I think that's where he's going to end up. I think he heads back to Bill Belichick and the boys.
I got a feeling that's going to happen too. I know I just said Cam's going to stay, but I'm going to give it a contingency plan because I think Jimmy's gone, and I don't know where else he would go other than New England. Maybe Cam ends up in Chicago if he leaves.
Yeah, that would make sense too, actually.
Desperation. Just fucking.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think Jimmy's gone. I think he might end up in New England, and then I'm gonna have to deal with. I mean, hopefully I have Deshaun, so if I have to deal with Josh Allen,
you'll have the best quarterback in the division, maybe.
And maybe Jimmy won't be getting, or Jimmy will still get hurt like he does every season.
Yep, that's true.
Not trying to be a hater, but it is what it is. 2 more, and then we will take a quick break. Sam Darnold. I'll take this one away since I'm the residential Jets fan. I think he's gone. It feels that way. It's hard for him to come back. Where I would like to see him would actually be Denver. I would love to see him in a Broncos uniform. I think that would be great for him. Elway above, battle with Drew Lock, someone that's really not a good quarterback. And, you have Jerry Jeudy, Cortland Sutton, Melvin Gordon, Phillip Lindsay, a better offensive line and a good defense. I think he would really succeed there. I hope that happens. Fingers crossed for him. On the other hand, I think he's going to end up in Houston. I think he's going to be a part of the Deshaun deal. If they don't want him, though, I think he gets flipped to Denver or maybe Vegas if they don't bring Mariota back. I feel like that'd be a John Gruden QB.
Yeah, I like what you're saying there. I thought he would be staying, but now with the Deshaun stuff, I think he's going to be gone. Like going into the draft was obviously, should we draft a quarterback instead of Sam? I thought they weren't going to, and they would stick with Sam. But since all of a sudden Deshaun's on the move, obviously, if you have a chance to get Deshaun Watson, you do what you do. Darnold's going to be on the move. I'd like to see him in Pittsburgh behind Big Ben for a year and then give him the job. Now, I know they just did that with Haskins, so they wouldn't do it. But I think that makes a little more sense than Haskins. Where I think he's going to go is probably Houston because of the Deshaun trade. Now, I've seen trade ideas where Darnold's not even involved in the trade. And it's just a bunch of picks. That would be wild to me because then you could flip Darnold again for another pick.
I just don't get why Houston would do that, though, because if I'm getting all these picks, I might as well get a potential QB back and then still be able to go sign someone or draft someone and just let them battle it out.
I think Bleacher Report or something like trade ideas, and I was like, Sam's not even included in it. And I'm like, oh, damn. That would work out for the Jets.
Yeah. I mean, hey, if he stays, I'm not against it. I have no problem with it. I'd love for him to stay. Like, it is what it is. I have his jersey. I mean, I don't have to get rid of it. Shit. Poor purchase. Actually, it was a gift, so it's actually not a poor purchase. Next, Alex Smith. I don't see anywhere for him to go, so he might as well stay.
I agree. Washington's a cool story with him this year. If they can't find anybody, maybe just try running it back one more time.
I also heard he might go to Jacksonville to be the backup behind Trevor Lawrence because Urban Meyer coached him at Utah. So I think that's interesting, but I
think that would be great for Trevor Lawrence. I don't know if I see that happening though.
I'm just saying if Alex Smith does that, you might as well just retire and become the QB coach.
Honestly.
Like, I'm sure your information, you were a number one pick. You brought teams to the playoffs. You sucked. Yeah. You've literally been in every position in this league as a starter.
Yeah.
Like, if you're going to do that, just hang it up, bro. I respect it. Oh, unless you don't get your money. Maybe that's it.
That's true. Unless you just collect that paycheck.
But that's basically everybody else. I think we both expect
this is more QBs moving than ever.
Oh, yeah. We've never seen all this. This is insane.
Like, there's going to be a lot of new faces, new places, so it's going to be cool to see.
No doubt. But we're going to take a quick break, give you our typical lovely message from Murphy's Law. We'll be right back, and we have some NBA, Tommy D's power rankings, per usual.
Yeah.
And some UFC talk. Big fight
yes,
happened.
Sir.
So we'll be right back, and enjoy this message.
Hey there, everyone. I'm Brendan Murphy, host of the Murphy's Law podcast. Every Tuesday and Friday, I bring you the latest news and notes from around the world of sports. We mostly cover baseball, football, and golf, and I bring in a lot of different guests to help me break down the biggest news of the week. If you're enjoying Brofluent, be sure to come and check out Murphy's Law every Tuesday and Friday, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Podbean, or wherever you get your podcast. I hope to see you there, and enjoy the rest of this episode of Brofluent.
All right, everybody, welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that message from Murphy's Law. Go check him out when you get a chance. It's a great show, great podcast. He's going to be on here next week to give you all a little insight. So you might as well see some of his opinions before he gets on here. Also, while you're at it, like, comment, subscribe, rate, and download all of the Brofluent content. Follow us on Instagram at Brofluent. And I don't really think there's anything I'm missing other than check out My Sports Radio and check them out. Dan Marcato, John and Tell, good boys over there.
Gotta say, Eric, you're just smooth, man. You got it down now.
We're vets now. We're vets in the business. Yeah. You feel me?
I feel that.
Also, maybe expect us to be on someone else's podcast soon. We have some collabs in the works.
Yes, sir.
So, hey, stay tuned. Stay tuned as always. You can get all that information on the Instagram page. Also, follow myself and Tom on Twitter. I am at SeekerNation13. Tom is at Tom DeFilippo5. Correct?
Yep. Yeah.
Look at that. The headers.
Bro,
the headers off the head. You feel me?
You are on fire, dog.
But with all that being said, we're actually going to start with some UFC. Big fight. Conor McGregor versus Dustin Poirier 2. Tom, give us your breakdown, because for those that don't know what happened, your boy got knocked out for the first time in his career.
Eric, let me tell you something. It is heartbreaking for me. I am one of the biggest Conor fans. He's my favorite fighter, right? For all the reasons. He knocks everybody out, talks shit, makes the most money. He's obviously brought the sport to a whole new level that it never reached before.
Right.
Going into this fight, I'm like, I like Poirier a lot too. I'm like, he's no joke. Like, the kid can throw hands. He's tough as fuck. Like, if Conor isn't on his game, he'll lose. But Conor's going to be on his game if I know Conor. And Eric, when you watch a Conor fight, you can tell in his face and the way he moves before the fight even starts. When he's in his corner, you see when he knocked out Aldo in 13 seconds to be the champ, he's in his corner bouncing, smiling, like, I'm comfortable in here. This is me. Like, this is where I live, right? Like, damn, this is a cage, but I feel good. And in this fight, I looked at him and I was like, I almost saw in his eyes. He was like, I think I might be a little nervous right now. Or like, I feel like I haven't been in here in a while. Like, I could just tell, like, I said to my girlfriend, I was like, he looks a little different than he normally does. Even when he came out against Khabib, yeah, he lost, but he was in his corner like, oh, yeah, it's go time. I'm ready. And this one, I felt like he looked a little like, this is kind of foreign right now. I feel a little weird.
It's been a minute.
Fight started. And he looked like Conor at first. He's hitting Poirier with a jab, keeping him at distance. Then he gets taken down. And they're up against the cage, grappling for a couple minutes. And they're throwing hands a little bit. Conor's landing. It was a nice first round. I thought Conor won like 10-9, close round, but Conor wins it. I'm like, all right, Conor's going to finish him here in a second, I think.
Right.
And Conor comes out, and he's touching him again with the jab, but he's getting hit more than I ever seen him get hit before. Like, he's hitting Poirier with a nice jab, and Poirier's like I felt that. And then Conor throws a combo, and Poirier is slipping, bang, and hitting Conor. You can see Conor's like, oh, shit. Like, normally Conor's slipping that and knocking you out with his left. And he was getting hit. And the whole time Conor's throwing hands, he's not throwing kicks at all. And if you watch the Conor fight, you know one of his best weapons is using his kicks. He'd kick you right in the stomach, like a front kick, straight to the stomach. And that shit wears on you. And Conor was not throwing any kicks. And I think him going to box has hurt his MMA game a little bit because he's strictly a boxer right now. He's just throwing hands. He's not throwing kicks. We know he doesn't do takedowns, but he's not being an MMA fighter. He's strictly a boxer. So Poirier is landing this calf kick on him over and over. He's not checking any of them. He's trying to check him, and Poirier said after the fight, he wasn't checking him right. Like, I was still hitting him in the muscle every single time. And he's like, I knew his leg was dead. So when Conor had Poirier up against the cage, he's landing, and Poirier switches positions, gets Conor up against the cage, and Conor cannot move. His leg is dead. And Conor's just sitting there like, if you watched him and Nate Diaz, there's a point where Conor was tired, and he's just like this. Like, he's just trying to duck, but he's not really covering his face. He's just moving his head. And Poirier is just landing shots, and I'm like, oh, shit. He can't move. Like, his leg is done. And he's about to get finished right now. Like, in the back of my head, I'm like, oh, fuck, no.
Right.
He's about to get finished right now. But he's slipping some, but he's taking others. But you realize once he's not moving, you're like, Poirier's not going to stop throwing. Poirier is a dog. He does not care. He's going to attack you. And I see Conor change levels a little bit, and he just comes with a right that puts Conor on his ass. And Conor was 90% out already. And while Conor's falling like this, Poirier's just like, bop, and that boy went out, and I was in my living room in shock, bro. I was just like, Liv goes, wait, did he actually just get knocked out? I'm like,
yeah,
he did.
Yeah, he did actually.
And I mean, hats off to Poirier. I felt like that was his moment. Like when he fought Khabib after the fight, he said, I thought this was my moment to shock the world. I just couldn't come through, and he was crying. I feel like this was that moment for him. Like no one thought he was beating Conor after Conor beat him in the first fight, and he knocked Conor out. And Conor's never been knocked out before. Only time Conor loses is submission. This one hurts Conor a lot, and you saw after the fight, he's like, "I'm gutted right now." Like he never thought he would lose to Poirier, especially getting slapped. Like he could always talk shit to Khabib because he's like, "If you stand up with me, I'm gonna knock you out. You have to take me to the ground, and that's where you'll beat me." Like, oh, you're kind of a bitch. Poirier beat him at his own game. And you could tell Conor was like, this ain't right. He was really like heartbroken by the loss. I was hurt, and I know a lot of people lost a lot of money betting on Conor. A lot of people did. I know in sports books there was like $500,000 on Conor. Like sports books made a lot of money. Fight was crazy. It delivered in that it was shocking and a crazy ending. I want to know how much Poirier made for this fight. I hope he made. I don't expect he made millions. I think Conor probably made a couple million. Poirier probably made
hundreds of
thousands. 600,000. I hope he made $1 million. I don't think he did. But that was Poirier's moment. It was cool. And now Conor's he's at a crossroads right now where it's like, he said he wants to fight, but if he retired, I feel like no one would be like, oh, like, damn, he's a bitch. He's lost. He retired. Like, the guy has $500 million. What the fuck does he need to fight for anymore? Like, if you're just going to retire, though. Don't play this game where you're going to be like, I'm retiring. Oh, wait, now I'm going to come back a year later. Like, just go do your whiskey, go do your shit. But if you're staying, you got to become fully committed again, bro. I know you got whiskey. I know you got your clothing line. But these other dogs you're fighting, they're all UFC. All MMA all day. They don't have the businesses you have. And I mean, that's amazing that he has all those. Like you should. You've made a business for yourself. You're the richest fighter ever, other than Floyd Mayweather. He needs to, I don't know, refocus. I thought he was refocused for this fight, but obviously not. And it scares me because the other guys that he's going to fight, if he showed up like he did to Poirier, he's going to lose those fights too. And I don't think people want to see McGregor go out like losing 3 fights in a row. That's all I gotta say.
I think, well, first off, breakdown was perfect. Like everything I was gonna say, I didn't even get to watch the whole fight, but I noticed the calf kicks. Conor said he broke his leg, so obviously, like, yeah, that explains why you couldn't fucking move. Like,
kicks are serious.
Yeah. I think. Now, it's going to sound kind of disrespectful to Conor, and I don't mean to sound that way, but I think he was humbled after the fight because I think he realized he was over his head and trying to do too much. Like, we talked about in the press conference how he said he was going to fight like 7 fights and fight Manny Pacquiao, and he was going to do all of this, and I think that was a little wishful thinking. I think he realized it when he was getting in the ring, where he was like, oh, shit. Maybe I don't have the best game plan and I'm trying to do what I did in 2014. And I forgot that's 6 years ago. He didn't come out as cocky and as boisterous as he usually is. So that kind of made me nervous. I didn't expect him to get knocked out. I didn't even expect him to lose. Like I kind of, I was like, yo, he's going to do what he does. It's going to be another tune-up. He's really going for the Khabib fight. And for me, I think everyone's talking about the trilogy. I think he should heal up and focus on another trilogy. And I think he should look at Nate Diaz 3. I think that's going to be his real next pay-per-view one that he can get. And I think he should decide where he goes from there. Really give it all your focus. Go into Diaz 3. And if you come out victorious, then maybe Poirier 3, possibly for a belt if he gets his title shot against he probably can get Chandler, right? He's probably gonna get Chandler for the title shot if Khabib vacates
it depends what they do. What you're saying, Eric, I'm proud of you right now. You're making a lot of sense.
I'm paying attention, bro.
You're making a lot of sense right now. Diaz, I think that fight is always there. So that would make sense, right? It's like if Conor were to lose, it's like, hey, you still have Diaz 3, and everyone's buying that pay-per-view because those fights are epic. Like,
right.
No matter how many times he lost, we're going to watch him fight Diaz. I think he would beat Diaz again. I'm just scared of if he stays at 155 and fights Gaethje or Michael Chandler or any of these type of guys, and he shows up like he did against Poirier, he's going to lose.
And who did Chandler beat?
Chandler knocked out Dan Hooker in the first round.
Do you think I've heard someone say that's a possibility where McGregor can have Dan Hooker? And
they're not going to give Dan Hooker McGregor because he's not a big enough name, and now Hooker has lost 2 fights in a row. He lost. Okay. I mean, he had an absolute war with Dustin Poirier. I mean, that fight was wild. So, like, Hooker's no joke. He's a top fighter in the world.
I've heard the name before. I just didn't really know.
Michael Chandler's first fight in the UFC, that man made a statement with the first round KO. Like, that guy is real. He's not going to get a title shot yet, I don't think. I think they're going to make him fight one more. Because, I mean, the rankings don't matter in MMA, but if you look at them, Hooker is 6. Chandler was not ranked, obviously, because it's his first fight in the UFC. So you move him to 6. Now you have Chandler fight a top 5 guy. He wins that. Then he gets a belt.
Chandler McGregor?
I don't think they'll do that because I truly think UFC wants McGregor to win. They don't want him to lose again.
Well, yeah, it's better. The UFC is better with him in it.
Exactly. And I think Chandler is not a great matchup for McGregor. Stand-up-wise, McGregor would piece him up. The McGregor that we know. But Chandler's a hell of a wrestler. So if he can get McGregor down, it could be a problem.
So with that being said, what do you think the next fight for McGregor should be?
I think it should be Justin Gaethje. I'm not sure it's going to happen, but both are coming off losses. He lost to Khabib. Conor obviously just lost to Poirier. Gaethje has lost to Poirier before. Poirier finished Gaethje as well. Both guys are going to stand up, so they know it's not going to the ground. It's going to be a throwdown. I just hope the real Conor, because the real Conor shows up, he'll knock out Justin Gaethje because Gaethje's too wild. But if the Conor showed up against Poirier, he'll get finished again by Gaethje. Because Gaethje will take every punch Conor throws and throw 50 back out.
Where do you give me a timetable for that fight then? Because obviously we've talked about matchups and stuff. For me, I said Diaz because I expect Conor to fight sooner than later. If I'm Poirier, I'm going to see if I get a title shot first before I commit to another Conor fight.
Well, the UFC has a thing, and I'm not exactly sure on the time period. But if you do get knocked out, you cannot fight for like 3 months at least. Like you're off. You're suspended.
So we're talking April, May. That's what I'm thinking.
But then I think his leg obviously is hurt as well. It could be 6 months before we see him again.
I'm fine with June, July.
That would hurt his. Obviously, I'm fighting 7 times. I think it looks more like 3 fights now, which is still a lot.
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
Is great. So I think we see that, but I think now the Khabib fight's never going to happen. And
not this year.
Him boxing Manny Pacquiao is way out the door. Obviously, Pacquiao's now fighting Ryan Garcia, if you know who that is.
Yeah. The
young kid,
Hispanic kid. Yeah.
He's gonna absolutely knock him out in the first round.
Yo. Hey, but we representing.
Hey, Ryan Garcia's a dog, but he almost got dropped.
He ain't Puerto Rican. He's Colombian or something like that, right? Or am I sure?
I don't know. I just know he's a cool kid, but he ain't ready for Pacquiao.
Oh, I want to give him his due.
What about?
Because I like the Gaethje idea.
Gaethje makes sense, I think.
At June and July, though, if that's the timetable, I do like that idea a lot more. Because if you're gonna take that much time off, obviously for injuries and rehabbing and getting healthy and getting in the tip top shape and even getting your motivation back, I do like it for the summer and going big and going Gaethje. I'm saying if he's going to fight sooner rather than later, I'd probably just want to see Diaz because I think those are two guys. Like Diaz's last fight was Masvidal, right?
Yes.
So we know that ended kind of shitty, but
yeah.
So I don't know. I like
they
that.
got lots of stuff to figure out over there.
100%. What else? I'm trying to see this Ryan Garcia. Where's Garcia's American? He's from Cali.
Oh, he's like of Mexican, I guess.
Is he
something?
Personal life. They always say it in personal life.
Yeah.
Yes, Mexican heritage.
Canelo was like.
Oh yeah, Canelo's his guy. Yeah, Canelo's Mexican. Yeah, that's right. Hey, shout out to Garcia though. I think he actually might fuck up Pacquiao.
Get the fuck out of here! You're stupid.
Man's old, bro.
Bro, his last fight he beat Keith Thurman, who was like a champion boxer in his prime.
Didn't he lose to the Australian dude though? That was a bum.
I don't know. I'm pretty sure his last fight though he beat this black guy named Thurman.
Thurman? I thought you said Urban for a second. I was like, you fought Keith Urban? He's fighting country singers now? You tell me that's going to put me to sleep?
Well, real quick, too. Jake Paul is fighting a former MMA fighter in a boxing match.
Ben Askren, right?
He's the sad part is, Eric, he's going to knock out Ben Askren because the casual fan doesn't know who Ben Askren is. They just see he's an MMA fighter. Mm-hmm. Ben Askren is a all-American wrestler. Like, he's fantastic on the ground. The guy has never won a fight in his life standing up. His hands suck. So he's going to lose to Jake Paul. And Jake Paul is going to say, I beat an MMA fighter. And that's going to happen.
Hold up. What if Ben Askren knocks him out?
Then Jake Paul better go back to fighting celebrities for that.
So we're not putting respect on Ben then? He won a boxing match.
No. Fuck no. Fuck no.
I knew the name, though. He was in when you were first sharpening me up. Like, you showed me Ben Askren a few times, and he was in the video game.
Yep, he was.
He a nice little dude.
He's old. He's got a replaced hip. It's a problem.
Oh, damn. Well, off the fight game to our real wheelhouse, NBA. Yes. Tom's power rankings this week. I got to hear them.
All right. Coming in hot, Eric. We're coming in hot, dude. A lot of changes this week. A lot. I don't want to hear shit about your Brooklyn Nets. Y'all lost twice to the Cavs. You're on the list. You're not on the list.
Beat Miami twice.
I don't give a fuck. You lost twice to Colin Sexton, bro. You dropped again.
But we beat Bam.
I don't care. Ready? At 10, a team who took another big drop, the Phoenix Suns. They start off the year hot. Now they are not playing good basketball. They're 8-7 after I believe they were 5-1.
They were 5-1. I thought they were 7-3 at one point.
They're now 8-7. Seem to be struggling. I think they've lost 3 or 4 in a row.
Suns being the Suns?
Yeah, we thought maybe CP would change it around, but when it comes to numbers, it's not like CP3 is putting up 20-10 anymore. It's more like 13-8. So they might need a little more, but they're going to fall out of the top 10 and keep playing that same way. Mm-hmm. At 9, Indiana Pacers. They're 10-7. So
Sabonis his MRI came back pretty good. So
I don't know how I feel about the Pacers. Are they a real threat, you think, or no?
I think they're a top 5 team in the East. I don't know if they're contenders, but keep in mind we didn't think Miami was contenders, and they ended up in the finals.
This is true.
Brogdon's 50, 40, 90. Sabonis is double machine. Mm-hmm. Karras just got I don't know if he got cleared, but he just had surgery on the growth on his, I think it was his liver or his kidney or something like that.
Yeah, went well. He'll be back.
When he comes back, they're gonna be a problem too. So
okay, I like that.
I respect.
At number 8, your Brooklyn Nets.
I don't hate that.
They're 11-8. I thought this was a good spot for them. Listen, you lost twice to Cleveland, but then you came back and beat the Heat twice. I think you dropped a spot from last week. You're 11-8 though.
We were on the list last week.
Yeah, you were. You made the list.
I don't know. Listen, with all your hate, defense. I forgot.
Y'all play some defense finally.
To talk about them a little bit.
Yeah, go ahead.
James, I don't like passive James Harden. I don't. I'm sorry. I I like the passing. He's playing significantly better defense. Like I'm actually watching it and like, oh, Harden's like he's actually like he's playing D. Like he can guard. DJ, we don't play him at the end of games. The only thing I'm worried about is our closing lineup right now is Kyrie, James, KD, Joe Harris, and Jeff Green as a small lineup.
It is. That sounds like Embiid's gonna feast.
So the only way I could think about that working, but they keep putting Jeff Green, like they put Jeff Green on Bam, and he was holding his own. I don't know if Jeff Green's holding his own against AD that much.
Don't think so.
And I assume KD is going to guard Braun, which we've seen. No disrespect to Braun, we've seen work before. I'd actually think about switching it. Maybe put KD on AD for the size, but we'll see how the rest of the season goes.
Yeah.
But everybody better shut up about that Cleveland thing. Like,
Hey, you like
didn't
him at
get
8
hot.
or no?
I want to see how the rest of the list goes. I have no problem with 8 though.
Okay,
I have no
I'll
problem
take
with
that.
8.
At 7, I don't really like this team, but the Denver Nuggets, they're 10-7, and they've won, I believe, like 4 in a row or something, or 3 in a row. So they're playing good ball. Jokic is balling. Murray's playing a little bit better than he was earlier in the year. Michael Porter Jr. is back, and obviously that changes a lot for them.
That does change a lot.
So they're 10-7 and seem to be going in the right direction.
I'd put the Nets ahead of them, but I don't hate that.
At 6, the Milwaukee Bucks, 10-6. They lost to they got beat by LeBron when LeBron went crazy, but they've won their other, and they lost to the Nets as well. But they've beat the teams they need to beat. I think we still need to see a little more from them though. When it comes to playing the Lakers and the Nets, and teams that win in the end are gonna, teams at the end who are gonna be there, they're not winning those games.
The only people on that Bucks team I'm impressed with right now is Chris Middleton's doing 50, 40, 90 again. That's impressive to me, really showing out. Drew has stepped up significantly doing his thing, and Dante DiVincenzo is definitely grown since last year. He's become a starter. But Giannis has been kind of disappointing.
I agree with you. At 5, they've been dropping, but only because their star player's been out. The Boston Celtics, they're 10-6. Haven't had Tatum. We're playing Philly tough, even without Tatum. Close games. Lost a couple, but I don't want to drop them too much when they don't have their best player.
That's fine.
Would you have the Nets over Bucks or Boston?
That's a hard one. Like, I think they're all in the same category right now. Like, they all need to figure some things out. So I don't mind it going. I would have probably went Milwaukee, Boston, Brooklyn. If we had to go from 5, I would have probably said Milwaukee, Boston, Brooklyn, Indy, Phoenix, Denver. Because Denver was in the basement for a while, so I feel like I'd kind of just barely get them in for showing up now.
Okay. I'm not mad at that. At 4, the Utah Jazz. Bro, they've won plenty of games in a row.
Donovan Mitchell.
And Donovan Mitchell's been eating. They are 12-4 now when they didn't look anything like this team 2 weeks ago. They're playing very good basketball. Mike Conley's been stepping up for them. But I feel like Bogdanovich has still been a little disappointing for them. But I could see him getting back in the fold. And I think the Jazz are always going to be a good regular season team. Like, they play hard. They play defense. They have a star. They're always going to have a good record.
The only thing I want to hesitate in, I see a lot of people saying they're bringing up that talk from last year where the Jazz are championship contenders, the Jazz championship. I think championship is a stretch because even if, say, they sneak like the Clippers or Denver or the Lakers, which could be possible, I don't see them getting to the finals. I think there's going to be too much firepower in the way. But Donovan Mitchell's going to do his thing and win a playoff series like he always does. So I think that's what's left to be. That's left to be seen.
I agree with you. They always seem like a second-round exit team. At 3,
but usually they face your Thunder in the first round, so that's why they get there.
Listen, we folded that year. We folded.
Both years.
Yeah, we don't need to bring up the past, dude. We're a young team on the up and go now, all right?
Whatever you say, champ.
Jesus Christ. At 3, a team that's better than your Brooklyn Nets, the 76ers.
That's
12
valid.
and 6, or what are they? 12 and 6 or 11 and 6? They're, Embiid
More wins than losses.
is a front runner for the MVP right now. Him and Luka.
Luka?
Yeah, Luka gonna be there. Don't worry.
He ain't there right now, though.
Yeah, okay. By the end of the year, him and Luka. Maybe Bron too.
You're forgetting someone.
No, I'm not forgetting anybody.
You are forgetting someone.
No, don't think so. LeBron James, right? That's him.
Bron's in mine.
Oh yeah, Bron, Embiid, Luka's gonna be there.
Nah, you're wild.
Who? Joe Harris. My fault. Joe Harris gonna be in there. No.
It's
KD will be in there, but he ain't gonna win it though.
He won right now. Bron might be one right now. Him and Bron are up there.
Bron, but yeah, they've been going off recently. At 2, the top 2 have stayed the same since last week. All LA. Clippers 13-4. They've been playing dominating basketball recently. Kawhi, obviously, PG, Serge, all the whole gang. They're balling, but they're still not better than the crosstown rival. Or not even crosstown. What do you want to even call that?
Hallway.
across the hallway team. The Lakers are 14-4. Obviously, LeBron last night in Cleveland was he was comfortable. He was like, I've been here before. I know what
he got mad too.
And then, can we talk about if you're a Cavs front office, why are you mad at LeBron?
I don't want to. I don't want to get too crazy, but like Bron said, he looked a little too happy that he missed. While I believe Bron, no disrespect to the man, obviously don't know him. Would love to if he wants to talk though. Like he has been known to be a little on the sensitive side. Like I could see him see like someone like say it was who's the owner. I keep wanting to say Danny Ferry, but that's not the owner. Dan Gilbert. Dan Gilbert. Danny Ferry was the Duke guy, the GM in Atlanta, right? Some shit like that. But if he sees Dan Gilbert like smiling when he missed that, like I could see that setting him off, and it could have been about anything. Like you know what I mean? So I don't want to just.
Though, if you are this guy and you are laughing because LeBron missed a shot, my man brought y'all a championship. Why are you trying to start something with him?
I'm saying it might not have to do with the shot at all, and he could have just saw someone he doesn't like happy and just get mad.
I can see that. And then he absolutely first quarter he went for 17, and then he went absolutely berserk again in the fourth quarter.
That's how he should do it. Go up to start the game, rest in the
He's wild.
Bit.
He's absolutely wild.
I'm actually gonna say something that a lot of people wouldn't expect from me. The reason Bron is in my MVP discussion is beyond just the fact that the Lakers are clearly the best team in basketball right now. But it's the fact that I think this is the best I've ever seen him shoot the ball. Now it has
we talked about this the other day. He's shooting a 3 ball like crazy.
Yeah, like I'm surprised he's not shooting 40 from 3 because it looks like he is.
And he's making like very tough 3-point shots.
He's that mid-range fadeaway, like he really has like he used to just have it from the corner. I think he has it from any spot on the floor now, inside the 3-point arc, obviously.
And my man has tried pulling up from the logo so many times and has missed. And he buried it last night. He buried it.
I just think this is all his points. He's become such a shooting threat this season that it's like, what are you gonna do? I can't.
There's no way to guard him if he's making threes.
Historically, I was gonna let him shoot. Now he's gonna drive by. I guess I need to force the mid range somehow. But how do you stop him when he's coming down the lane?
Yeah, I think he's clearly still the best player in the world. I don't care that you're suck Kevin Durant's nuts.
I think it's all right. Let's not go that far. I think Bron. I think it looks like Bron and KD are on a tier of their own. Bron still clearly 1, KD still clearly 2, and then there's everybody else. Right now it's probably Embiid, but just based off this season.
Embiid is going crazy right now.
And we gotta give Paul George some credit. But the reason we're not talking about you is because it's not the playoffs yet, because you do this in the regular season every fucking year. So let's
playoff
just
P, dog.
pandemic pee. But I don't know. I like the list though. I think Lakers, Clippers. I actually would go Lakers, Clippers, Jazz. I'd say the 3 West teams are top 3.
That's how ESPN had it. They had Jazz at 3 when I checked it out.
Look at them getting better.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, but I'd say Lakers, Clippers, Jazz, Philly, Milwaukee, Boston, Brooklyn. What did I say before? Indy, Phoenix, and Denver.
Okay.
But I like that top 10. I don't think. I'm just happy Golden State wasn't there. I'm happy Golden State wasn't there.
Yeah, they finally fell out. They did. Miami, not there anymore. Warriors, not there anymore. I thought about the Blazers. They're like 9-7 or something like that.
And they haven't had McCollum or Nurkic.
But they lost last night to the Thunder, so I couldn't put them in there.
How are your Thunder doing, man?
Bro, I'm happy with the way we're playing. Obviously, we're probably not going to make playoffs. But we just want to see our young guys play well, play hard, play above what we think they could play. And they're doing that. They're absolutely doing that right now. Shay's a baller. You know, me and you were talking. We were like, D'Angelo Russell or SGA? And then we were both like, SGA, actually.
It might be SGA.
So I think he's going to another level even this year than last year, which is what we need to see from him.
Mm-hmm. It's still hard with me because D'Lo's led a team to the playoffs. So, like, obviously that's a big thing. If you do have – it's clearly an argument, though. Like, it's clearly 2 guys that are definitely top 50 players in this league and great young point guards that you would want to build a team around. So,
and right now, Dort has his nights where he looks like a good player. Other nights he's not so much. Roby seems like he could play.
He looks like he got some potential to be a backup big when y'all get someone.
He can play a little bit. I'm not mad at him. Our rookie is finally looking like he knows how to play basketball. I don't know how to say his name.
Oh, the
skinny white
Pakasovich. Yes. 17 for y'all that watch Thunder games.
I watched him play against the Knicks earlier in the year, and I was like, I knew he was a long-term project, I know. But I was just like, oh, this guy sucks. Like, he was airballing.
I don't know why y'all took him in general.
I don't know why either. I think it's a long-term play, though. Like, maybe in 3 years, this guy, you know, he's tall, long. Like, he could do a little bit of everything. But he's actually starting to play well now, apparently. So that's a good sign.
Hey. Well, I wish y'all the best. When we're in the playoffs, I hope y'all get your shit right.
When y'all lose in the first round,
the first round. All right.
Hilarious.
All right. I'm not gonna say we're not liable to get snuck right now, but the first round is wow. Motherfucker thinks we're gonna get scared of Atlanta.
LaMelo Ball about to sneak in and beat y'all.
LaMelo Ball, get the fuck out of here.
You don't think so?
Let's talk about that for a second. Now that you brought that up, James Borrego calling out LaMelo, saying he turns the ball over 5 times in 16 minutes, and that doesn't do it for him. I want to be the first to say, who the fuck are you to talk, bro? Like, I understand. Like, look, I don't think he's starting because it's a money thing. I think Terry Rozier gets paid way too much, and Devontae Graham just showed you he's the most improved player. So until this rookie shows me that he is better than those 2 guys on an ownership and general manager standpoint, or I can move one of those guys to the bench or talk about getting rid of them, like, he can stay there. That I get. But saying a dude that's averaging 2 turnovers, it has a 6 to 2, so 3-to-1 assist to turnover ratio. When you have never had a winning season in your history as the head coach of anybody, interim or thing, I think you have a career 120 and 190 win-loss record, and your job is not safe, James.
And he was your 3rd overall pick, buddy.
So how about we take a step back, we not say this shit publicly, and we mind our own fucking business and maybe try to win a basketball game in Charlotte.
And I will say this. Gordon Hayward has seemed to be, all of a sudden, a very good signing by the Charlotte Hornets.
You reminded us who he was. Yeah, very good is different. I don't think he's worth $30 million.
Now, he's not worth that, but in Charlotte's case, who else are you even going to get? That's the thing.
Well, now you can't really get anybody.
Like, no one's going to Charlotte, so when you got a chance to get somebody, you got to
They
get
do
them.
have to overpay. I get that. And Gordon has balled out, and seeing him with his own team really, I think it actually tells you a lot about his character. And I know it's like, hey, like you're talking about the white guy that gets overpaid, his character. Like, isn't that so typical of everybody on the fucking sports station? But I think it says something because his role in Boston was
He had
not
a
how he
massive
thought it was.
injury that knocked out his whole Celtic basically run.
Right.
Like,
And he took a step back, he did what he said, he performed, he definitely heard us all fucking talking. And then he said, you know what? I'm gonna go to my own team and I'm gonna show y'all what I really am.
Up.
Yeah, and I respect that. No matter who it is. So kudos to Gordon Hayward.
But hey, coach, LaMelo in for Devontae. That's all you need to do. That's all you need to do. For Devontae.
I'd do it for Terry. Just hey, yo, I know you get paid
I'm fine
a lot.
with either, but
it's just
Terry's
like,
had some big games.
But we've seen him as a sixth man. He's so good as a sixth man. Like, I don't understand why.
And I think Devontae Graham fits in as a six-man role too. They're both that kind of player.
I think Devontae's issue this year is he's not getting the ball in his hands as much. Like,
it's like both y'all are buckets, but kind of suck at defense. But
well, it's because they're both like 5'9". Like, I think I'm taller than Devontae, and I might be just shorter than Terry, or vice versa. One's like 6'1", one's like 6 foot.
Yeah.
So
that's true. Still,
I don't know.
So put my man LaMelo in. Let him win Rookie of the Year, coach. Come on.
He's in that.
Fucking man.
He's in that combo because Anthony Edwards is shooting about 3 for 15 every fucking game.
He had a nice dunk last night, but that's about it.
Bro, I saw her dunking and I was like, oh, he must have had a good game. And I'm looking and I watched the highlights and I looked at the stat sheet and I was like, he started like 1 for 7 and that was his dunk. And that was really
And all you saw was the dunk. That's all you saw.
Of course. That's why you gotta watch it. At least look up the game. Give it 9 minutes. They put the highlights, do what you think. But I think I'm ready to get out of here, and I think we have to say a few things before we get out. Not really quick hitters. First off, rest in peace, Hank Aaron. We weren't able to talk about that. Big man for the sport of baseball. In my eyes, the rightful home run leader. Say what y'all will, but
right, the clean home run hitter.
The clean home run hitter lives in infamy. We're not baseball guys, but we know what that man did for the sport, and lived a long life, 86 years old. God bless him and his family, and move forward from there. Rest in peace to a legend. And obviously the day we are recording is the 1-year anniversary of Kobe and Gianna Bryant's passing. And I just wanted to take a moment to, remember Kobe the way we do, as, we were young kids during his career. We were obviously in school during the time that it happened. We were on a team that had to deal with that. We actually got the day off after. Came in and talked about it, which, in hindsight was a good, at the time, I know we were like, bro, like, we don't need to go. It's like, we're all good. But it was a good gesture. Yeah. For what he's done in the sport. And, give me some of your favorite Kobe Bryant memories, man. Cause I know when it happened, we were the only ones in the house. I remember that we were the only ones in the house.
We thought it was fake news
for the longest.
I was like, that's fake. What are you talking about? And then obviously it turned out to be horribly true. But I would say, obviously you have the famous ones. Kobe dropping 81 or whatever. And
versus Toronto.
Him hitting that buzzer beater against Miami off the backboard off one leg. I remember that one. But I'm going to take it to the All-Star game, Seek. I'm going to take it to the All-Star game. When him and Bron were going one-on-one. And, like, you just saw them, like it was like, this is where they should be right now. Like, both dudes just loving it. And Kobe blocked him on one end, got a bucket of him on the other. And this is at the point of Kobe where he's not necessarily Kobe anymore. He's not, efficient and doing all this crazy stuff.
Right.
He's on the latter half of his career. And he blocked the bunt, and he got a bucket on him on the other side. But you saw it was all love to him and Bron. I always remember that moment because obviously I love LeBron. So, like, that was a moment that was just like, damn, that was cool as hell. And obviously the moment with him and Jordan in the All-Star game, where Jordan goes to take the charge or whatever, and he starts punching Jordan.
That's a good one
yeah,
too.
Those are ones that stay in my head.
One that will never leave my head is the 60-point farewell night. Watching that, I remember I watched that whole game. That was like, I know people bring it up all the time. It's the cheap one to bring up, but it really was. If you watch that game, like it really was like so insane how he just started hitting back to back to back, getting to the line, and it was like only Kobe could do this, man. And he was jacking that night, but he had the right to.
but when he needed to get the buckets, he got them.
I'll never forget the finals when he got the first ring, post Shaq when he stood on the table. In front of the LA crowd. That was one of the best moments. I don't forget the Western Conference Finals against Melo. That was because I was a big Melo guy. That was one of the best. People don't appreciate him enough for what he did for the game and preventing injuries. Actually, I remember how pissed he was when Dante Jones slid under him and hurt his knee the first time before the Achilles injury and all that, hitting those free throws after the Achilles injury. Kobe's a legend, man. Top 10 in all our books. And obviously greatly missed. But we can't take time away from Gianna as well. I personally, Tom knows me, I'm a fan of Paige Beckers and Haley Van Leith and all these female hoopers. I was that dude that went to the women's game stuff and enjoyed that shit too, and talk shit with them because there's a lot of good female hoopers out there. And I'm actually very upset that I think we got robbed of probably one of the best WNBA players we were ever going to see. I remember seeing that girl off rip and knowing she had
she was shit. Kobe.
Yeah, no, she really was, man. And, that one hurts a lot too, especially because she was so young. But, little pay our respects to, a year later. It's a lot for that. Rest in peace to them. Hope the family's doing well. Shout out what Pau Gasol wrote. That was very
that was cool.
Very nice what he did. That's his family now. Way he be taking care of them.
Yeah.
And in other news, Lonzo might get traded. Kelly Oubre might get traded. JJ Redick might get traded. Derrick Rose might go back to the Knicks. Like,
none of these are shocking us.
Not really. Yeah, not really. Like Lonzo not getting the extension seems. I mean, I don't like him in Golden State. Golden State shopping Kelly. I mean,
he plays good for once, and now they want to trade him.
Can he get more than 15 games? Like, I'm a fan of giving people time to gel, but
no Clay. Like, he come on.
Yeah, like it's a little weird there. Net signed Norvel Pell. Hopefully that helps us. Lions got a little coaching staff over there.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about coaching.
Bite their kneecaps off.
Hey, we're going to talk about that with Murph. We're going to save the head coaching hires for Murph and what we think about that because we recorded that. Well, not really recorded.
Kind of.
Talked about that. And we're going to save that for him. So tune in next week for that. And that's really it, man. Anything come to your mind that I'm forgetting, or does that sound good?
No, I think we hit it all. Just one video this week, so we'll be back again next week.
All right, guys
next week you'll get, Super Bowl predictions,
Pro
NBA
Bowl
talk,
and Madden Pro Bowl reaction. Greg Olsen retired. Shout out Greg Olsen.
Good career.
Very good career from Chicago to Carolina to Seattle. That's everyone he played for, right? Only 3 teams? He was a dog, though.
So.
That man was a dog.
So, yeah, he was a beast.
Leslie Frazier or Eric Bieniemy is going to be the coach of Houston. Again, we'll talk about that. And we're good.
Yes, sir.
We're good. Shit. All right. Appreciate everyone for listening. Like, comment, subscribe per usual. I'm tired, man. Time to sign out. Appreciate it. Happy to get y'all a pod. Apologize for last week. And live, laugh, love. As always, preach positivity. And we are out.
Peace.